world news, red carpets and views, politics in the streets, not just suits on the news. From the culture to the chaos, we run it. Man off the record, we tell it like it is. No fluff, no fear, just facts and real biz. Voices of the people, stories that connect. From gossip to the government, you know.
Hey everyone, what's going on? How's everybody doing?
Doing fine.
All right, it's the OTR Off the Record show. It's me, your boy Minion with the Pinion, and we got y'all. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Well, hello, Minion. This is I Said What I Said.
This is Foxy 2, Roxy 3.
And we got our guest on. Go ahead.
Hey, this is Ryan from Harvey. I do the Harvey Historical Society and Chicago South End Politics groups on Facebook, and Ryan's Gay Chicago is my YouTube channel.
Uh-oh.
Where we get applause to thank you. Look at you. Okay.
All right, guys. So today should be a good show. If you haven't already seen the thumbnail and the title, the title and the description, we are going to be talking about the mayor of Harvey and Harvey, the city of Harvey as a whole, pretty much. And we're going to be debunking all the things that we think Mayor Clark is doing well for the city. So I hope you guys are all interested. Foxy, are you ready for this show?
I am so ready. So ready.
Can someone pause the in the background? I hear some background. I'm excited. Are you excited? I said what I said.
I am excited, even though this is my second show for today, but I'm very excited to do
Said I'm
politics.
tired and excited.
Oh, yeah, I always stay excited when we're talking about politics because, this is my theme here.
I know that's right. And
Yeah.
this is a story. The way it is unfolding, oh my God, this is gonna be so much stuff to talk about today. So I hope y'all are ready, y'all. All right, so with that being said, let's speak to some of the people in the chat. We have Miss Bucky. What's good, Miss Bucky?
Buckeye.
Oh yeah, you the person that's supposed to be calling people out. That's right, that's right.
Yeah, because you're not calling the names right anyway, so definitely let me help you out.
Oh,
Go
wow.
ahead.
Leave it to
Yeah,
I said what I said. She's going to keep everybody on their toes. Keep it going.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Get
keep
it
it cute,
correct.
but I'm gonna
Get it
keep it
correct.
cute. Ryan. That's cute as I can get. So, hey, Miss Buckeye. Hey, Miss Buckeye. Thank you for joining us today. Hey, Von's Reality. Thank you for being here today. Hello to you, Carol Morton. Thank you for being here today. And Von, which is one of my moderators, want everybody to hit the like button, and please do that, everybody. And I think that's it for the chat for right now, Minion. So you may proceed.
All right, guys. Well, today we're going to be talking about a few different things, y'all. Oh, you love the avatar? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. We're going to be talking about the first thing we're going to be talking about, guys. We need to discuss all of the problems that Harvey may have. So, we're going to talk about a list of different problems that is facing Harvey based on Google. Okay, and this is all the article they pulled this information from all the articles off the internet, and this is the key aspects of Harvey's financial situation. So we're going to go ahead and go through these, and then we're going to move into the real good part, which is the evidence. All right. So, first thing, pension crisis. Google says Harvey has a significant pension debt, estimated at over $87 million, with substantial portions owed to the police and firefighters' pension funds. These pension funds are reported to be significantly underfunded, with the police fund holding only half of its required assets, and the fire fund only 22%. 22% of what is supposed to be in that fund is in that fund right now. Just that's crazy. The critical underfunding is attributed to the city's failure to make required payments over a significant period. All right. So that's the first issue that Harvey is facing. All right. And I would say that is a pretty significant issue for the firefighters and the police officers that are working in Harvey, Illinois. Let's talk about the next thing. It says forced measures. The dire financial situation has led to difficult measures like laying off a large portion of its police and fire department personnel. Courts have ordered the city to increase property taxes specifically to address the pension debt. And the state comptroller has even withheld city revenues to ensure payment to these pension funds. All right. So the government has had to intervene just to make sure that Mayor Clark does what the fuck he's supposed to be doing. Excuse my language, because I know that you have people that don't like cussing, but this is some serious stuff, y'all. Okay? And we're going to talk about it. So we're going to have some fun tonight. But I want you guys to keep in mind that this issue in Harvey, Illinois today is a very serious issue. Okay, so we're going to talk about the next thing because this is a long list. We have property tax issues. Residents are facing rising property tax, a problem exacerbated by the inequitable assessment process that has been seen that has seen residential property values increase significantly while commercial property values have been reduced, shifting the tax burden to homeowners. All right, this is the next thing, municipal debt and deficit. The city has a cumulative deficit with its debt burden around $140 million.
Hmm.
Next one, lack of audits. Harvey has failed to complete state mandated audits for its recent fiscal years. Recent is what Google put in. This is not saying over decades. For its recent fiscal years, and is now undergoing forced audits, which the city is legally obligated to pay for. So you guys have to pay for it if you're
Wow.
living in Harvey, taxpayers. Potential for municipal bankruptcy. The severity of the situation has led many to suggest that municipal bankruptcy may be necessary, the necessary solution to address the financial crisis taking place in Harvey, Illinois. And then the last one is transparency and governance concerns. Residents have voiced concerns about a lack of transparency in and issues accessing public comments during city council meetings. This is a Google search. Google should know all this. There have been reports of the city denying business licenses and using concrete barricades to block access to businesses, alleging delinquent on property taxes, leading to a lawsuit, which we are going to talk about. In summary, the financial crisis in Harvey, Illinois is a complex issue primarily driven by massive unfunded pension liabilities and compounded by other financial pressures, including property tax burdens and issues with governmental accountability. Okay, so if anybody was questioning if there was a level of corruption that was taking place, even if it was a small level, I don't think that anyone could deny that there is some level of corruption taking place in Harvey, Illinois. And if you deny it, then you're just willfully avoiding reality. So anybody who speaks up and says that Mayor Clark is doing what he's supposed to be doing is just willfully misleading people. Okay. And so I just want to get you guys' reactions from what Google says are the problems with Harvey. And I guess we could start with you, the resident of Harvey, and the person who contributes the most to Harvey from this panel, Ryan.
Yeah, exactly. No, everything you were reading is true and more. So yeah, we have a lot of problems, and unfortunately, Mayor Clark usually has the same excuses. He always talks about the debt that the city has. He'll say, even though it's 6 years later, he'll blame the former mayor for why he is not doing his job. And most importantly, he will have you arrested. He'll try to discredit you. He'll say horrible things about you. Anything to distract from just showing the receipts. Like we've been asking for
That's
that
all we
for
want.
6 years. If he's so great of a mayor as he promises and he tells people from the dais, at city council, then just show us the receipts. Show us. We just want to see the invoices, the accounts. Where's all the money going? And that's the only thing he will not do. He'll do anything but that. He'll call your mother every name in the book. He'll, like I said, he'll try to discredit you. He'll arrest you. So I mean, if you can't see that he's obviously hiding something, then, like you said, Minion, I mean, it's pretty
It's because you
obvious.
don't want to.
Right,
It's because you
exactly.
don't want to.
Or it's because Clark is paying you or blackmailing you. Like the four aldermen that always vote with Clark. Is it because they like Christopher Clark? No. During his first term, Tyrone Rogers and Dominique Randall L., they often would argue with and vote against Clark, and they were not very cooperative. But through a mix of blackmail and payoffs, that's really the only reason why he has the four aldermen voting, 4 out of 6 voting with him. Like very few people actually really like Chris Clark. He's a manipulator. He's not a very nice person, unfortunately. Um, but yeah, like I said,
Yeah.
between
Well,
between blackmail and then paying them money, that's how he keeps the even just the aldermen under control.
right, right. Okay. Well, I will say this. There probably is a lot more things, like you said, to add to that list. And we will uncover it, but this man has been under fire for a very long time. I think that there's some story that's going out that, Mayor Clark today, 2025, in his capacity as mayor today, he's doing a great job. I believe the YouTuber actually used the words, "Good job, Mayor Clark, for defending the future of the city." I think those were the exact words. The reason why I do is because so you can quote that, because I actually wrote it down as soon as I heard it. And it really made me think, like, is this man really doing a great job for this city? Because you may hear this person speak, you may think that they have a lot of passion, a lot of emotion behind their voice, and you may think that everything that's coming out of their mouth is the absolute truth, right? But here, I'm a critical thinker. And I would like to think that the panel that I'm sharing this live with are also critical thinkers. And well, what we did was we did some investigating. Okay. And so with our investigations, I don't know if you guys know who this is. I don't know his personal name, but I've seen his video a few times in regards to Tiffany Henyard. His channel's name is News for Reasonable People. And you would just think off the title, just on its face, that we're probably about to listen to someone who's rather reasonable. Would you guys, I would probably deduce that from the name of his channel, right? Well, this guy about 10 months ago released a video. And if you guys can't see it, let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger. I forget what. Which okay, there we go. All right. So if you guys can see, oh, y'all don't see it. It's just me. Never mind. All right, but if you
Well,
guys can
we
see,
see it on the screen, but it's not playing yet.
okay. No, I had magnified zoomed it in, but you guys can't see my zoomed in screen. Only I can, which is weird. So let's see. Let me remove that. All right, so let me go ahead and play this video for you guys. The title of the video is Harvey Mayor orders police to eject entire audience from clapping at city council 10 months ago.
I don't hear anything. Is the audio not working?
Oh, you guys can't hear it? Y'all,
No.
I don't hear anything. Do you guys hear anything? Yeah, I don't hear anything.
oh,
No.
y'all always gotta embarrass me.
Stand by, everybody. Our super producer is having technical difficulties.
Please stand by.
Y'all heard that?
His business license for his church.
Yes.
Are
Yes,
we
we
good
hear it
now?
now. Yeah, we
All
good
right.
now. Go for it.
All right.
Harvey Mayor Chris Clark, he orders police to remove the entire audience from council chambers at a council meeting. And what was their crime? They were clapping. Let's get into it. Let's watch a quick video. All right. So the backup to this is just moments before what we're going to see here when they're basically told, you got to get the F out of your own council meeting. What had happened is a pastor had torn up his business license for his church. He said, I'm not down with this. And the residents, Harvey residents, they did a little clapping action. And the police chief said, get the F out. And here's where we jump on in at that point. Here we go.
We're clearing the room. Thank you very much. Ms. Gonzalez, once that's done, you can come up and speak once that's done. Please, everyone.
Clear the room. Y'all remember what that? Y'all remember who used to always say clear the room?
Yes. Tiff.
Yeah, but Big Tiff.
Unfortunately, yes, Minion. Unfortunately. This is Super Mario 2.0 look like shit.
Okay.
We got Saint Rock, the real rap show in the house.
Hey, what's good? I need to upload my other sounds to this studio.
And also Shonda stepped in. Thank you for being here tonight, Shonda.
Okay, Shonda. I don't like that one. Okay. Anybody else y'all wanna shout out before I go back to playing the video?
No,
Sir,
continue.
go for it.
All right.
Yourselves, if you would be so kind, stage to my left.
Remember, they're clearing the room because the clapping wasn't in favor of the city council, the controlling city council. So look at this guy's shirt, whatever. That's a great shirt.
Okay, don't that just basically that's exactly I'm pretty sure how they feel. Whatever. We don't care about you. And why this man always had his pompadour on the top of his head like this? What is the reason for this? He too old.
Oh, Tyrone.
Yes.
Mm.
He think he cool. He's still perming his hair.
And why do we have cops at a city meeting? This is just so new for me because if you look at city council meetings around the country, nobody have cops at their city meeting. You know, they may have one on the outside of the doors, just to make sure you have law and order, but you never have a bunch of cops inside the actual meeting itself, as if
Exactly.
something is going to jump down.
But they have them at Flint too. And that's why they had a video earlier from the Flint Police Union, because they say they are being weaponized, used as weapons in between the council people and and the mayor. And he said, "I will be glad when they can come together because you're using us as pawns in between y'all battle." And they're doing the same thing they was trying to do it at Dalton. They're doing the same thing here, and they're doing the same thing in Flint. So it's not just Harvey; it's Flint doing it too.
Mhm.
I mean, let's just be real. It's probably happened a lot more places than that. You know what I'm saying? I think that especially in these small communities or small government entities, I
Mm.
think they get away with it way more.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I think that's just something that we have to.
I think it's a form of intimidation, is what I believe, because
Absolutely.
I've seen other meetings. I've seen one in Atlanta, not a cop around.
Right. Because why? These people not coming to
For what?
commit crimes. They
They
coming
come to
to
talk
be a
about their
part of the
problem.
community. Right.
Yeah. So
Exactly. So
slowly
why?
but surely, you can't protest and speak. I guess freedom of speech is leaving slowly but surely
Mm.
in the good old United States of America.
It
Now
Right.
definitely seems that way.
you can clap in church, you can clap in the synagogue, you can clap wherever else. Use school stadiums, auditoriums, everywhere else, but you can't
But you
clap
better
in
not
church.
clap at your city council meeting.
Yeah.
Are you getting arrested and going to jail? And with him, it's $500. I don't know how much it is in Flint, but they do get arrested in Flint or
And
banned
fine.
and fined.
And Clark's a lawyer, so see, he knows better. He's just doing this because he thinks that he can get away with it, and that's why we're here to let him know that he can't get away with it.
Well, so
Mm-mm.
far, I don't know. It looks like he's convincing some of the people out there. So we just got to
Yeah,
make sure we keep
exactly.
our foot
He
on
has
his
people
neck.
are afraid. Yeah, because I have a lot of residents. I've tried to get people to come to meetings, and they're like, "I don't want to get arrested, though. I don't want to get arrested." I'm like, "Oh my god! Like you should not be afraid of your own politicians. They should be afraid of us." Like,
Right. Okay. Well, let's keep watching. We're not gonna watch the whole 17 minutes, but
All right, ladies and gentlemen, those in the city, you must clear the room, please. Ladies and
So
gentlemen, if you're sitting, you must exit the building. Thank you.
he got mad, so he
there's
kicked
Diana.
everybody out.
you
Yeah,
gotta go. You gotta leave. Too much
there's no
clapping.
apologies.
Exit the building and stand right here. We're gonna move out.
You got to go all the way out the
The
building.
building, correct.
Wow.
Diana,
She's
Diana
like,
didn't
what?
come back to a
Why?
meeting for a while because of
He
this.
claps. Can't have that.
Can't have the clapping.
Please clear the room. Thank you.
Ooh.
They're nothing but bullies. They're big bullies.
I got you. I got you.
This is
How dare her? Talk about she got me. What is that supposed to mean?
okay. So that's just the footage.
We have a step outside, please.
I want to hear.
The beacon of light in the village of Dalton is located. And then here is Harvey. I mean, it's a couple of towns over, right? You're basically back to back type environments. So is it a shock that this is happening in this area of South Chicago? No, it's not. This is more business as usual. But Harvey is getting quite a reputation for having this kind of thing happen, where you've got just kind of normal back and forth, and you got people clapping normally. And the move came during public comment on Monday's regular meeting, when several speakers levied pointed critiques at the Clark administration. And the Clark administration just shuts it down. Get out. And we're going to have our officers start to write up disorderly conduct citations if need be. Imagine being a judge. Now, let's see. Now, where did the out of control violence happen? Your Honor, I was at a.
Right. Exactly.
Now see how stupid that sounds? And he's getting away with it. He's getting
Right.
away with it. That's the problem. He done found a judge that is not going to ask the questions that he just said. They're accepting whatever he said to make sure they pay that money. And nobody wants to get arrested. Nobody want to be fined $500.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Well,
Because how much of that fine does the judge receive?
exactly.
That part.
I don't know because we never see receipts for much of anything. So
And I
Mm.
want to know. I want to know why is Pritzker, the governor, and he's not trying to regulate any of these little small cities in the state of
it
Illinois?
it's
Isn't
very
he over
embarrassing.
everybody? I think
Yeah.
y'all need. I think the residents need to start writing some letters. People need to start contacting calling him on the telephone, and
Mhm.
they need to make their voices being heard because at the end of the day, these are his people. He's in charge of all of these people. He's in charge of these meetings. He's in
Mhm.
charge of the state, and he's in charge of enforcing the law accurately.
Right. And we have complained to the governor, the attorney general. Yeah, they tend to ignore. They tend to just not say anything.
Well, I think that, I think we get the idea. This guy who is a YouTuber, with a pretty large following, he seems like a pretty reasonable person to me. What do you guys think? You think he seems pretty reasonable?
Sound very
Mhm.
reasonable. The meeting in Clark's was unreasonable in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%. So, with that being said, this man, I think that, like I said, there's this narrative that's going around that Christopher Clark is this great mayor, that he's wanting to push this narrative that he's doing such great things for the community. All right. Well, like I said, anybody can Ray Charles could see, and Stevie wouldn't have to wonder if there was corruption in Harvey, Illinois. We could all tell it, right? But if y'all want to listen to anybody pushing that narrative, that's fine. What we're going to do is release the proof. So let's talk about what Mayor Clark has done for Harvey. All right. So the next thing that I want us to look at is, let's see.
Oh, I thought Luther was going to enter the chat also. Enter the conversation.
You so silly. Okay.
I mean, we talking about everybody else. Hey, Mandy, thanks for joining us tonight.
Hey,
So,
Mandy.
Yeah. I like Shonda. Hey neighbor Mandy. I like Shonda's comment too, and she said something. What did you say? Oh, she said this is so infuriating. She doesn't even live there. Yeah. Thank you for being infuriated for us. We appreciate your concern.
We need all the infuriation we can get. No, I'm joking. I'm
Yes.
joking. All right, but seriously, guys, the next thing that we need to talk about, I'm pretty sure everybody's already heard about this, but the city of Harvey property owners trade blame after homes boarded up. Residents say with them inside of the house. Mayor Clark went to visit these residents after they were boarded up, just so you guys know. But if you don't know about this story, let me go ahead and play a portion. It's a 2-minute clip, so let's go ahead and play it so you guys get a little context into what happened around these apartments getting boarded.
I didn't make the call, I didn't make the decisions, even though I wasn't aware. I'm still an alderman, and that made me just as responsible too.
A seemingly divided and heated Harvey City Council meeting.
One could assume that the city of Harvey at large had some peace in it.
This building that was uninhabitable on 144th and Harvey.
I just don't understand why is this cool, this perm at the top and naps in the back. That when did that take become a fad? Was that ever something that was in style?
Well,
cause
say, I was thinking it was a track.
Okay. I ain't got a little track up here. That's
y'all
what
gonna stop.
But
Down
look
the
how bone
track.
straight it is compared to
Yes.
the rest of his hair. Don't even look like it's his hair. That is
No,
true
you're
bone straight.
absolutely right. He glued that in, Pops.
He look like
He
Africa
got
by the back of his
his
hair.
hairline is probably back, and he put that on the front and glued it on and got
Yeah.
it bloomed in so it blend and
Well,
cover up that
it's
spot.
too straight all the way around, because the edges are not. They kind of edges are kind of wavy nap, and the top is just real straight.
Right.
Uh-huh.
So
That's
I
right.
don't.
I'm
It
a
looked
track
like a.
queen,
I
and I
know
know
what it
that's
looked
a
like.
fact.
It looked like a reverse punk rock.
Uh,
I cut all my hair off in the '80s, and I had that piece at the back right
the
there.
ducktail. The
The
ducktail.
ducktail. There you go. It
In
looked
the
like
front.
it looked like a reverse ducktail is basically what it looked like.
Oh my God. Lord. Okay, let's keep watching.
Austin was deemed uninhabitable by professional certified code enforcement officers. Hear me good, and I didn't interrupt you, and don't interrupt me.
As the city council was addressing the concerns at the apartment complex,
Who the hell that man yelling at?
Well,
See,
that's the
Ron, who was he
testosterone.
yelling at?
That's the testosterone.
Oh, at that particular meeting? Oh gosh.
it don't matter. Let's just keep watching.
Yeah, I don't remember,
tensions
but it was,
flared between
yeah, it
Mayor
was pretty
Christopher Clark and two alder people,
You think I'm seeing this? You don't have to accept it. You probably
ending with
Oh, that must be before he got his teeth in, because why he was talking like that? This
yeah, he got
must
yep.
be
He got his new teeth like a few months ago, yep.
He came
look.
to a meeting without his teeth.
I mean, I just want to see the receipts because that was something like,
Ryan
ooh,
said he want to know who paid for them teeth. Ryan, did y'all pay for those teeth?
Okay,
it's
did the
very
taxpayers pay for them
possible.
teeth?
Lord
I
have
wouldn't put
Lord.
it past them. I would put it past
And I
them.
wonder, are y'all paying for a dude to go to the beauty shop every week, to sit in that chair for
Get
4 hours
that head
to
rubbed
get that hair,
on.
yeah, to get that lace front laid in there like that.
Oh, you talking about you talking about
That two, that straight toupee,
ducktail.
that ducktail toupee.
Okay. All
It's
right,
it's
y'all.
very possible. It's so possible.
You don't have to accept it. You probably
ending with both alder people escorted out of the chambers.
for the little babies.
This comes as tenants back at the apartment complex today received food and portable heaters from Andrew Holmes and other community leaders,
Thank you.
while still living in despair.
Like, who does this to human beings?
Mark Montgomery says he doesn't know where he'll be living in the coming days or weeks. This after Harvey city officials claim his property owners began boarding up these apartments Friday due to what the city calls unsafe and dangerous living conditions. Some tenants tell us they were still inside of their homes at the time of the board up.
Felt lost, lonely, depressed, scared.
But tonight it seemed to be a blame game about who called for the property to be boarded up. Mayor Clark says it was the property owners, but the owners over the phone claim it was the city's call.
Then they'd have to have a conversation with me on that because I haven't heard that from them. Once again, it's private property, and then they decided to take action on their own.
And tonight there's still no word on when or if the tenants will have to move.
Oh. All right, y'all. Okay, so we see that article, and I guess this is just another thing. What has Mayor Clark done for the residents of Harvey? Well, I mean,
Nothing
they're
good.
getting boarded up. So,
And the sad part was some people were still inside where they boarded it up. There's one video where you can see Andrew Holmes going there, and one gentleman was going there to check on his uncle, knocked on the door. You could hear his uncle on the other side of the boarded up door. And he said, I'm in here. I'm in here. He said, you all right, Unc? He said, I'm in here. So that's sad. And then the alderman that was over in charge of that ward claimed that the news was lying, that the people was not inside when they boarded it up. And that was false. So, you're the mayor of the city, and you allowed them to board these people up, and you wasn't even present to see that they was okay. If anybody there was with a woman there with her children and nothing, you didn't even go out. But Kobe was there. Kobe went to see about him, see what's going on, and she's an alderman. You the mayor. You the head of the city. So why wasn't you there to see about your residents?
Right.
But I digress.
Exactly. Don't digress. No, no, but seriously, no, that is true. It's always Colby to the rescue for the residents. And unfortunately, she's going to bat for the residents, and it's always against the mayor. It's not like against their landlord or something. She's trying to help them with something. This is the mayor that they're trying to battle against.
And then, it reminds me of Belcher, who challenges, Belcher or House challenging Tiffany. And they're going to bat for the residents. And, she was trying to, put the people out of the meetings. And then finally, they just got up and walked out just like Kobe did. Just got up and walked out because there was no reasoning. So, this been going on since what was it, 2010, 2020? Well, no,
Oh, with Clark?
yeah,
Clark's been in since
2019.
2019.
2019. He came in 2019. So from 2019 until now, they was not allowed to clap. If they clapped, they was ejected. Either the meeting was discontinued or certain people was taken out of the meeting. So this been going on since 2019, and this is 2025. So what has he done so great that he's got to escort people out of a meeting? You can't clap. You can't make a noise. You can't whisper on your phone to tell the people that you're going live what's going on without you getting arrested or taken out of the meeting. I saw the video. Ryan was talking to us, letting us know what was
Mm,
going on through the meeting when he was made to get up and thrown against the wall and arrested. So all of
right,
this is, you using the police as weapons towards their own residents to a point that the residents are scared to come to the meeting because they're scared if they speak out, they're going to get arrested. So they stay home. And then y'all wonder about the voters turnout. That's the reason why you don't have a turnout like that, because the people are afraid to be in his presence. So what's so great about this mayor? I digress.
Wow. The retaliation is astounding. Hey, Status Quo and Javar Ellis, thank you guys for joining us tonight. But I just don't like none of this. None of it. It's all disgusting. He's disgusting, and I'll be glad when justice can come back to America. Like I said, people, please contact your governor. Flood his office with calls. Start complaining. Start making your voice known and heard. Like, why are y'all boarding people up? I hope some of those people file a lawsuit against the city for boarding them up inside that house. That is totally against the law. I don't care if the building is condemned or not. It is their responsibility to make sure that everybody is safe and that they're not boarding people up in their homes. That is, I know that's against the law. Hey Justin, thank you for being here tonight.
Hey Justin, my look, my number one mod. Love you, love you.
Yes,
I hope if you don't mind, Justin, can you be the mod for the night for us? If y'all don't mind.
absolutely.
We do need a moderator because I'm having to try to do it, and so definitely need a moderator.
And if y'all need me to address something in the chat, then I can address it as well. But I do want to speak to the people in the chat. I saw someone put in, Marjan said, good evening. I just want to stop by and ask for prayers for Iran today. We just got attacked by Israel.
Yeah.
So
So that's one
prayers
of
up for
my
them.
Yeah, that's one of my people, and I just let her know.
yeah.
I know she want to let us know that, but YouTube will strike you with different words that you use, and that word is just one of them we can't use.
Oh, okay.
We can't even say we have to say C19 because we don't want this video struck, and we want this video to get out, and we want people to look at this video, and we want people to know what's going on in Harvey, not discounting what's going on, around America. But I just want to make sure that we use correct etiquette. So I'm not getting on to you because you probably didn't know, but it's just certain words and certain phrases that we can use so that our video won't get so we won't get dinged for it, and so that the video can circulate around, because we definitely want this in the algorithm, and we want the people to know what's going on in Harvey.
Yes, and
100%.
Justin said he would be our mod for tonight. And Chandra want to ask the question. She said, "I don't know if you guys have the answer. However, what can we do to assist that don't live in the area?" Ryan.
Ryan, that would be a Ryan question, right?
Yeah, thank you for asking. Oh, well, I also wanted to answer. Carol Morton asked, "Does the mayor actually live in Harvey?" No, he does not. We're told he lives in Chicago somewhere, but no, he does not. So he does all this, and it doesn't matter. Most of our officials, I should say, some of our officials and most of the city staff does they do not live in Harvey. So that's another reason why they don't care. If I were mayor, I would vote for residency requirements again. We used to have them years ago for all city staff. But I just wanted to clarify that. Yeah, I mean, I agree with. I said what I said as far as we can maybe coordinate some email campaigns, phone campaigns. That's something we can do. You can definitely follow. I post any and all updates that I have on the Art Historical Society page on Facebook. I'll also, do stuff on my YouTube, Ryan's Gay Chicago. But yeah, I've been thinking about that, how we can organize people. We've done petitions before, so we have gotten people like to for the people that the mayor displaced from their homes. We had almost 1,300 signers for that, and unfortunately we got ignored. But yeah, we can think of some other ways, calling, emailing. Um, we'll work on that.
Yeah, so you let us know what we need to do, who we need to write letters to, and that's what we'll do. So thank you guys for asking that question.
Yeah, that's a great question. We really appreciate it. Oh, and then Shonda asked about when I was arrested. It was about a year ago, yes, that I was arrested.
And what were you arrested for, Ryan?
I was videoing during the city council meeting, and then I was making like little comments, but they weren't very loud, but mostly to defend Colby. Excuse me, because she's my alderwoman, and the mayor would just oh, you're welcome, Shonda. Yes, was being very disrespectful, and so I would be like, boo, or like, Mayor Clark, let her talk, or something like that. But I wasn't even really very loud. Even if I were loud, I have a right to do that. I'm not physically like stopping the meeting. But yeah, so that's when he had me arrested, and then after that, that's when he really started to crack down. That was last summer.
So
Can't
let's
believe it's
get
almost
into
crazy.
yes, yes, yes. So let's get into some more facts about what Mayor Clark has done for Harvey. Okay. Let me go ahead and make this a little bit bigger for you guys. So this is a report from Wire Points. Now, this was dated in 2018. You guys can see that at the bottom. The reason why that data is important is because right now, currently today, or in 2025 is when, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan, in 2025 is when you guys started facing the comptroller garnishing y'all's money, right?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know when it started. Mandy, if Mandy's still here, she might know. She's really good with the finances. But
Okay.
but yeah, that's stuff. But the financial issues have been going on in Harvey for years and years and years before Clark came. So he just unfortunately
Absolutely.
he has not helped though. See, he's sending this message, and certain people are sharing the message that he is actually helping, or like he's harping on certain businesses to pay property taxes. That is not why we are in trouble. It's because he spends money willy nilly, and we don't even know half the stuff that he's spending money on because he won't tell us.
Well, the reason why you guys are in so much debt is because of pension fund um deficits. Like y'all owe on these pension funds. And as a matter of fact, This article from Wirepoint states that Harvey is the first domino in Illinois. Data shows nearly 400 other pension funds could trigger garnishment. All right, so
I,
there's
I,
four.
I have that. I have that for you. It began February of 2018, Minion.
Oh, February of 2018.
Hmm.
So they okay. So this was dated April of
Right.
2018. All right. So you guys have been getting your funds garnished since 2018. So why has this just become a topic?
And Mandy put that in the chat too. Thank you, Mandy. Yeah, it's crazy. It's not Clark is not honest about this. About Also, another thing he did not mention, which I should have Chappelle on, and we should talk about this at some point. But when Clark was an alderman during Mayor Kellogg's last term, he and three other aldermen conspired to disable Harvey city government and kept the city from being able to pay bills. There were several projects, like for a grocery store, for a truck stop, for some other things that got turned down because Clark and his allies at the time they wanted Mayor Kellogg to look bad so that Clark would be elected mayor. And you notice again, is that something you've ever heard? Does Mayor Clark talk about that? No, but they did that during the previous mayor's last term. So that also really hit us hard financially.
Well, the fact that y'all not paying these pensions, that's what's really hitting y'all hard because they're garnishing y'all wages. And these pensions are for multiple it looks like departments in the government, like they have the fire department, the police department. I don't know what other departments are missing pension funds, but somebody's not paying into these pensions.
Right. Well, and then what I'm saying is that during that last term when Clark was still an alderman, the mayor, even though Mayor Kellogg was very corrupt and did a lot of things that did not help the city financially, but there were some projects that were supposed to take place that would have helped bring in some tax money. And Clark and three other aldermen, what they did is they would boycott meetings. They literally shut down government for a while. And they claimed it was because they felt that the mayor was corrupt, but at the end of the day, it was because they wanted to make Kellogg look bad. Well, it did make him look bad, but I mean, it also hurt us financially. If we can't get tax revenue, then you just go deeper in debt.
Mm.
True, true, true. So, tell me this, because I know we're going to talk about it, but is that retention pond that caused a whole street worth of houses to have to be removed? Is that
Yeah.
bringing in any income?
No, exactly. That is actually negative income because he forced good tax paying residents from their homes, including mostly elderly Black residents, including a few that were the first Black families to be able to buy on that block as Harvey was
Wow.
integrating. So I mean, there's so much bad
Leave it to the
there.
historian to tell us the in-depth history about the property owners on that street.
Right.
Yeah.
But but yeah, that's a pretty big deal. Okay, so the next thing I want us to talk about, because obviously Clark knew that this was a issue. He just refused to say it until I guess the right time came for him to be able to use it as a campaigning argument. All right, so because that's all he's using it for now. Um, all right, so let's talk about these extra fees for these businesses because he's trying to make Harvey great again, right? I guess he's trying to be the one to make Harvey great again. So he's trying to bring in businesses, right? Let's talk about what he's doing to these businesses. Let's talk about the real stuff that he's doing to these businesses. All right, so let's see here. All right, so we have a article from Chicago 5. All right. Now, this is basically saying that these business owners and churches are taking legal action against Mayor of Harvey, alleging improper fees. Now, y'all bear with me. I'm gonna have to read a little bit, so y'all gonna have to just suffer through my reading. But let's look at this article. Can y'all see it? Let me see if I can at least make it bigger. Is that better?
Yeah, that's a lot better, Minion.
All right. So some business owners and churches in South suburban Harvey are taking legal action against the city, alleging that they're being unfairly targeted with improper fees to help raise revenue. He thought that imposing fees on businesses was going to help raise revenue, but I argue that there was a different motive at play. But among those impacted is Benicio Gonzalez, who inherited her late grandfather's auto shop, which came with years of late property tax bills. All right. So when Gonzalez applied to renew the business license, she was denied due to outstanding taxes. The business has now racked up 2,500 daily fine with entrance with the entrance to the building blocked. So let's keep reading because it says, I even paid a large tax bill. I am embarrassed to say the amount to show them I'm taking care of taxes. Gonzalez said, even though we are the owners of the property, they made sure that we could not get in or out. I'm fighting for myself and other businesses to stay open. Gonzalez is now part of a federal lawsuit with other business owners who allege that this is a scheme by the city to extort money from business owners. And I would say, to add to it, to extort their properties. I mean, to take their properties. Okay, because if you're imposing a $2,500 daily fine, if somebody goes a week without paying or without resolving whatever the issue is, who's going to come off? For how much is 7 times 25? That's like 14,000. That's a high number, like $17,000. Who's going to come off of that in just 1 week? If you got a tax burden that you got to pay. So I feel like you're intentionally imposing these high ass fees so that,
Minion, that's $17,000.
yeah, that's why I said that's 17,000.
Yeah, $17,500 for 1 week.
Who gonna pay that? That's probably more than the tax bill,
Right.
or around the same amount.
Is it even legal?
That's what I want to know.
I mean, I don't think so. I'm a part of that lawsuit too, and Colby is as well. The crazy thing though is that Clark is saying, and keep in mind, most of these business owners, they rent. They don't own their property, so it literally is not their job to pay the property taxes. It's the property owner. But besides that, the fees he charges, he says, okay, if you pay me these fees, then I'll let you operate. I won't give you a business license, but I'll let you operate. One of the options is they can pay $2,500 a month. I think the other one is like
Wow.
1,000 for 6 months.
So it doesn't go on the record. And so what is this
And get this,
$2,500
though,
going to?
the fees, we have no idea where they go. They certainly do not go to the back taxes owed. So it is literally straight up extortion because obviously that's what I've asked. That's what Colby's asked. Other people have asked. I'm
And they're
telling you,
just pocketing these
he'll never tell you.
$2,500.
We have no idea
Wow.
where it goes. Yeah, we have no idea where that money goes.
Well, yeah, y'all don't have any idea where it goes, but
Yeah.
allegedly, if you don't know where it goes, then I'm going to assume that you pocket it because you could just show me
Yeah,
where it goes. You could just show
exactly.
me the receipts, and I don't have to assume anything.
But we know for sure because the city said it doesn't go to their back taxes. So again, like, well, then why are you penalizing them? Like, what? So it's pure cash grab. That's all
Right.
That's all he wants. He just wants to get as much money as he can for whatever, for his teeth, for cars, TVs. They all have these brand new leased cars that he and the city staff drive around. They drive him home. It's horrible.
And he's already getting a luxurious big salary. So how much more money do he need?
Right. Exactly.
Well, let's see what they say. Okay, so the city of Harvey has never gone to court and never asked a judge with due notice and the opportunity to be heard by any of these businesses. Attorney Robert Hanlon said They just expect the world to take it as if he, the mayor, is a king. Some churches also say they plan on taking legal action after being told they must purchase a business license to operate or face a $2,500 daily fine. Okay, according oh wait, I think okay, according to the Illinois Department of Revenue, churches do not need a business license unless they are selling personal property. In a statement, a spokesperson for Harvey called the allegations named in the federal lawsuit baseless. I'm so sick and tired of that word baseless. I feel like they overwork that word. Everything is baseless when it's against you. All right, but the statement goes on to say that as of January 15th, 2023, 465 commercial properties in Harvey were delinquent on a total of more than $12,217,507 in commercial property taxes. The city is financially strapped, and we cannot do this to the business owners, churches, and the people by increasing everything around them, Alderman Colby said. I agree. So how's that going to make it better by making everything higher? It is just not fair, and we really need some oversight and accountability to come here to Harvey and support the people. All right, so that's that article. But yeah, they are charging churches $2,500 daily fines if they don't operate with a business or if they don't purchase a business license.
Well, I wonder
Also,
how much are they going to let them stack the money up before they start trying to garnish, before they start trying to take their property.
I wonder how many months you gonna let them pay twenty
that,
five
that,
hundred dollars without and operate without a business license, or you
mhm.
know, like how long are you gonna do that? Because that sounds very
Pretty
corrupt and
sketchy, right?
illegal.
Very much so. Super sketchy.
Okay,
And then,
so
and then also don't forget that there's already, I mean, if you Google it, that you can see articles about the horribly corrupt and opaque process of tax sales in Illinois. So I mean, that is also super shady. So if you are delinquent in taxes, it there's a process. Like, Illinois is one of the worst states for protecting owners. Like, it makes it pretty easy for someone to buy your taxes and then potentially acquire your
Mm,
property. So
wow.
it's really, really shady. I agree with you, Minion. That's what I've been saying all along. I think that's his goal. The goal is to make it so financially expensive on them to push them out of their properties, so that ultimately the city can acquire it, whether it's via tax sale or whatever. Usually, my understanding is, municipalities, they have a fast track towards getting, delinquent properties.
Also, I want to say, if you remember in the mayor's recent interview, he stated when Paul Roberts asked him about the church license, he claimed he didn't know nothing about it. When was this article put out, Minion?
this article was put out in 2023, December of 2023.
So from 2023 to 2025, you didn't know anything about that, but yet this says in this Chicago article that you was trying to do that then. So, but you're a great mayor. Okay, so that's a debunk
So
number
what's
two.
changed? Right. What has changed from all of these articles that obviously show a level of corruption? If there wasn't anything there, they wouldn't report it.
Exactly. And this is
And these are
Channel 5. This is Chicago 5. This is not somebody that's just putting something out on Facebook or Twitter or TikTok. This is coming from a reputable news station stating to this fact. And now you want to get on YouTube and claim that you didn't know nothing about it. So that's a lie right there. So, you fail to realize there are articles, there are things out here that debunk what you were saying, Mayor, that you're claiming that you know nothing about. So you lying, constantly lying. So we're on here, OTR, on the scene to let you know that we see through your lies. Continue, my brother.
I know
Well,
that's right.
all right, Miss Off the Record. And also, to back Miss Foxy up, we know when a reputable news corporation do an investigation, they have investigative reporters, and like she said, they're not going to blatantly report a lie. They can get sued if they are reporting false information. And so they're not going to put their name out there on the line that way in order for somebody to sue them. So they've done the homework, they've done the background scenes, they've looked at the records. And so you can go to these meetings and huff and puff and act like you're a king if you want to, but I think you need to be dethroned from your throne, sir, because you're full of crap. Your last I checked, church and state was separate, and that's actually in the Constitution. Not only is it Illinois state law, it's federal law. You cannot mix church and the city municipalities. You can't mix that stuff together. Most churches in most states, and all 50 states in America, because of the federal law, they don't have to pay taxes. Now, if the Congress in a certain state deem that they try to collect taxes from a church, then that church have to be selling some type of product, and they're actually gonna, even if they do say it's gonna happen, the case is going up to the Supreme Court because that's the law of the land.
Yep.
And the person that did that article is Regina Wardruff. What, I think I pronounced her name right, Wardruff. And so she is a reputable reporter. So that's letting me further know that you're lying, because she's not going to put her name and her career out on the line just to lie for you. I digress.
You know what? She's not the only one. Because look, there's other reporters that's putting their name on the line too. Because you got Samantha Chapman, who's reporting on Harvey as well. Now, this one isn't so much necessarily talking about the corruption in Harvey, but this is going to address that retention pond situation, and why they had to get it. Now, the retention, what is it? What is this? What was it supposed to be?
So this was a product. Well, Clark wanted to build a park there, and so he got the MWRD, which is the wastewater management board, basically for the Chicago area. So he went to them and got them to go along with his plan. They agreed, and so to make his land grab legitimate, basically, they said, "Oh yeah, we're going to put a retention pond there to help with flood relief," which we do. I mean, we get flooding, not as much ground level. It's mostly sewer backup. So it did not take long, though. I reached out to some people that I knew in the federal government, and they even evaluated this whole thing, and they were like, "What? You didn't even consult people like you were supposed to. You have no business kicking people out of their homes for this. This is not even a good plan for flood relief. Like, what are you doing?" And the MWRD and the mayor, they just ignored us. We got almost 1,300 signatures. We went to meetings, we protested, and they kept pushing. And so, yeah, unfortunately, the project, I mean, I don't know if they're going to actually complete it, but yeah, almost all the families are gone. But it was crazy because we never asked for it. We never asked for that, and we don't need it. And we had the
Well, see
best
what he
federal
wants.
flood people say that that's a stupid plan for flooding. Duh, it's not about flooding, right? And we knew that all
Right.
along, but we exposed, did our research. He just wants to get land and property, and there's so much shady stuff going on with the real estate. But I mean, this was a new low though, because even Tiffany, like most corrupt politicians, don't use the threat of
Go
eminent
after.
domain,
Oh
Ryan,
yeah.
let me ask you this,
yeah.
Ryan. He used eminent domain to get these people property to build this pond. Are you telling
No,
me that's what he did?
sorry, the dog heard somebody.
He's excited. The dog is mad at Clark too. That's him
Yeah.
telling Clark off.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
maybe
was
he
probably
answering
heard
my question.
somebody
Maybe he
outside.
said no, he didn't use eminent domain.
Right,
So what did he
right. Yeah,
use, Ryan?
he was talking to. No, they didn't actually use eminent domain, but they used the threat of eminent domain. And a lot of these people were seniors, and they either don't have kids or family around, or they're. I mean, they're scared. If you're 80 85 and you're living in your house and you raised your kids, several of them lost their spouses. I mean, is the first thing you're thinking like, oh yeah, let me hire a lawyer and fight the city? No, they just wanted to
Good
live
evening.
the last few years of their lives, in their homes where they raised their families.
Right.
So yeah.
That
So I mean, they
let's look at
literally
this.
pick on the most vulnerable people. Imagine your grandma or whoever you respected that was older in your life, okay? Like the sweetest person, but someone who they don't have much strength, they don't have much fight in them. They don't have a lot of money. These are the people that Clark and the MWRD and all these crap politicians, they're the ones that
Are
they pick on.
removing. Why?
Yeah.
It's crazy because let's look at this video, and then I'm gonna give my opinion. All
Okay,
right.
well, we had a few people coming to the chat menu. We
Oh
had
yeah. Hey Alice, what's good, Alice?
and Saint Center.
Hey Saint Sinner,
Hi, Saint
what's
Center. Hi,
good?
Alice.
Hey.
Everybody else that came into the chat, what's up? How y'all doing? We gonna give y'all some applause because y'all the true MVPs. All right, thank y'all for coming in and hit that like button.
Chris Huff and entered the chat earlier, so I want to make sure that that we recognize everybody that's joining us with this off the record video.
Yes, what's up, Chris? All right, so we're gonna watch this video and then y'all can let me know what y'all think.
Homeowners on 153rd and Myrtle tell me they worked hard for their homes and they don't want to leave. But the city of Harvey says a retention pond is needed to reduce severe flooding. But residents tell me they won't be leaving without a fight.
I just don't want to leave. I'm too old.
Joe Poole is 88 years old and has lived on this Harvey block for more than 50 years. When he learned that he and his neighbors would have to move sometime next year, he was heartbroken.
That's my home. I'm comfortable here. Put yourself in my shoes. Been here that many years, and then you're going to pack up and try to move someplace else.
This past July, Poole and his neighbors were informed that the city of Harvey and the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago plan to build a stormwater retention basin on this block. The goal, to address a history of flooding in Harvey. The city of Harvey says it would need to acquire 31 total parcels, including 15 residential properties, meaning homeowners like Poole and his daughters who live next door would have to leave. Residents tell me they support making Harvey a better place.
Wow, the whole family. But let's keep watching. Look at you, Ryan. Always there.
But not at the
Oh, and Kobe Chapman.
expense of people's homes.
Why do it in an area where you have long living residents? These residents who live on this block is what built your community.
The city says the nearly $10 million project will include roughly 10,000 feet of new storm sewers, storage of 7.5 million gallons of storm water, and a new 4.5-acre park with a landscaped water feature. There were 4 public meetings, according to the city, but Second Ward Alderwoman Kobe Chapman says 4 meetings isn't enough.
Like most residents, I was stunned. Sitting in City Hall learning about the project. Capital improvement should never come at the expense of someone's livelihood.
The Alderwoman says she learned plans for this project have been in the works
Is she wrong?
since 2018, but says the city kept it under wraps until this past summer.
We could have done some further investigation on this entire project to determine where else could it have gone. This project has been done in Stone Park, it's been done in Robbins, even Dalton, local areas around here, and nobody was displaced. So why here in the city of Harvey is that even a thought or even an ask?
In a statement to the ABC 7i team, the Metropolitan Water Reclamation
That's a good
District of Greater
question.
Chicago says the exact location of the basin was determined because it provides the greatest amount of flood relief to residents.
All right, I mean that pretty much gives us the gist of what this water basin is talking about. So what are your thoughts? What do you guys think?
Oh, okay, before we go there, can we get Status Quo has a good idea for Ryan. Can you highlight that?
Oh, sure. My bad.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, about the environmental impact statement.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I mean, we tried to slow down the process, complain as much as we could. It really just seems like the government officials were in on it with each other. if you go, and maybe someday I can reshare some of my videos on my channel about that I did, where I would go down to those MWRD board meetings and protests and make public comment and everything, and they would just sort of look at us, and be like, "Oh, but the residents of Harvey want this. They're happy. This is great." So to me, I feel like they're maybe they're getting paid too. Maybe they're getting some. Maybe they get something out of these deals. I don't know, because I don't know why you would support. Plus, a lot of the people like on the MWRD board, like the president, she's a black lady. There's another black lady that Yumika Brown. That's Carrie Steele's her name. Yumika Brown. She's on the board. She comes from the south suburbs. There's a black lady who is the first trans elected official, Precious Brady Davis. There's a Latino gay man, Marcelina Garcia. There's another Latino lady, Coral Sepulveda. So all these people, they love to throw in our faces how they're so diverse, and we didn't ask them. They do this at their meetings and on their website. They're like, we love to help communities that are disadvantaged, and look at us. I'm smart, and like Carrie Steele loves to brag. I started as an intern here, and I'm a black woman. I went to get college educated and da da da. Okay, well that's great. You want us to respect you guys because you say you're super diverse, but that still doesn't change the fact that you are unnecessarily forcing people to sell their homes, and this project doesn't even need to be done. So it
Right.
was. It's almost like there's one thing if I want to do something bad to you and try to kick you out of your home, but it's another thing if I want to say, okay, now here, kiss my cheek, kiss my face, kiss the ring. I want you to acknowledge how I'm such a great person, and I'm so diverse, and I'm so educated, and like I'm doing a great thing. It's like, wow, you're gonna take people's houses, and you're gonna like preach to us about how you're, basically like, oh, well I'm gay, or I'm black, or I'm a woman. How could you accuse me of doing something? Like, I only help people. I help people that are like me. Well, no, you
Well,
don't do that and lie to our face, and
right.
they do. It's just
Right is right and wrong is wrong, and all skin folks ain't kin folks. Okay, so we got that. Hey, Tina Mosho, thank you for being here tonight. But isn't it an oxymoron saying that this project is going to help people with the flood, but then you're taking their house away? So how are you helping them if you taking their house away
right.
from them?
Mhm.
So how is that help? And I'm not going to have a house to live in. And that man had a very nice
Right.
looking house.
A
That
nice
little
looking
Oh,
house.
it's a very nice
He
looking
yeah.
house.
he looked
Yeah.
like he was
Beautiful.
established. He was well established in that house and didn't have any plans on moving anywhere. Like, could you
No,
imagine
he's
being
yeah.
88 years
Mhm.
old
Right.
Right. It's just
It's hard
it's
and
heartless.
having to figure out where to put all your belongings in this house that you done lived at for decades?
Right.
And it's a
That's crazy.
two-story house, so you know that man got that house filled up from top to bottom.
Oh my
Absolutely.
God.
It,
I
They've
it
got a
would
couldn't
full
even
take
basement. Yep.
imagine.
right. It'll take
Mhm.
6 months just to pack it, the bottom flow up. I'm sure. But
and then,
and I don't know. I'm just making a joke. But at the end of the day, come on, people, come on.
and
Right.
That's heartless.
I have in one of my tabs that
Absolutely
video
heartless.
Ryan is talking about. That was back in November the 7th, 2024, of that
Mm,
meeting with the
mhm.
Metropolitan Water District of Greater Chicago. I have that
Mhm.
pulled up, that clip, if we want to see it maybe at a later time, but I will save that as one
Well,
of
those are good. Yeah, we got some good
Well,
good
share it
stuff.
on the screen, Fonzie.
Yeah.
We got time to look at it.
I
uh,
think we did a great job fighting it. It just shows you how connected these politicians are. So that's why I always say, oh, well, somebody's probably getting paid off or something.
okay, here we go.
Actually, with a busload of about
Oh yeah, the
so
clown one.
MWRD and the relation.
These are all the people that Clark brought with to the meeting to show support for the project. They're all either paid or they work for the city or they're blackmailed by Clark.
State your affiliation and you have 3 minutes.
how the MWR works.
Going to tell us your story. We are here for you, and I'll make sure that my staff connects.
BS. She said, we're here
The
for you.
sad thing, pause it for a second.
Now watch what happens now. John, who's threatened me
Okay.
You know, the sad part is that all these people do this stuff in the background while smiling in the residents' faces, knowing that they're planning on projects that's going to displace these residents and put them in a bad situation.
They
Absolutely.
backstabbers.
And be hoping that this never gets out. They be hoping that nobody record this footage and show their ass at these damn meetings so that you can link them to, you know what I'm saying? So I'm glad
I
that you
will
was there.
forever. Yeah, you're always welcome to share. I'll forever share their, or spread their shame. Yeah, I'm telling you, Carrie Steele. Maybe I could bring up a little clip of that video, but she told us to our face like, "Oh, that's not true what you're saying. Like Harvey residents love this project." We're like, "What? We have like 1,300 people saying that we don't want this stupid pond. We never asked for it." Like I'm telling you, they will not only lie to your face, they're going to tell you you're going to take this pond and you're going to like it and you're going to kiss my and you're going to.
Well, let me say this.
I'm like, wow, no. You're crazy. They're so rude.
The pond looks like it could be something like, you know, it could be like a nice little feature, right, for a little suburban neighborhood because we have a whole bunch of those out in our suburbs.
Right.
And
That's what I wanted to ask. That's what I wanted to ask. Are they trying to sell the prop? Are they trying to make this as a feature of the properties or something? Or what are they trying to do with this? And Ryan, they want you to type in the chat so that Justin can put your.
Oh,
He said he need to get your channel or something.
I don't think I can't. I don't think we can type in this one.
You should be able to type in the comments.
I don't think it'll let us. Remember?
Not as a guest, unfortunately. That's the only downside.
Okay. That's.
But it's just 3 words, Justin. Ryan's Gay Chicago. That's all. Or you can go to my website, ryansgaychicago.com, all one word.
Let me try to find it.
GAY Chicago.com, and then it has all my contacts there. So, but yeah, I'm telling you,
find it. That's my boy.
Carrie Steele is a special kind of evil, and she is not. I don't care. I don't care that she may have interned at the MWRD. Her father was an alderman and a judge. She's only in that position because, family connections. She knew the right people, and she's still hurting people. So I just, I don't know. I just don't think that people should be able to do this. How is this allowed? It's absolutely insane.
Right. So after they voted on that and basically are going to be they removed how many residents so far?
Yes,
Excuse me.
15 families total are going to be displaced by this.
15 families are getting displaced. Now, y'all heard Alderman Kobe say that this is not a new project that's just popping up in Harvey, Illinois. It's something that they did in Dalton and some of the Robbins and some of the other surrounding neighborhoods, right, or cities or municipalities.
Absolutely. And I've been to Robbins. I visited Robbins. They have a huge project the MWRD is doing there, putting in like fancy waterworks and everything. Nope, not one.
Not displacing one family.
Person. No. So, I mean, this is extra evil. And this is where I even disagree with some of our residents in our little activist group, because some of them are like, oh, but you can't blame the MWRD. It really was the mayor's fault. I said, no, absolutely not. I'll never give that whole board. I'll never excuse them, because at any time, Harvey has no money for anything. So at any time that MWRD board of all those educated, diverse people, they just should have said, no, absolutely not, Clark. BS. Go back to Harvey. Go back to Harvey. You have no money. You have no power here. But they chose to do it, so they're just as guilty. I will never let them live that down. It's horrible. It's the worst thing they could do.
So see, that's why they're in debt again. Now you're trying to pay off your debt. Now you're putting something in that's going to cause more of a debt.
Right. Yep.
So you're never going to get out of the hole. You're going to get deeper and deeper in the hole. So whoever take over
Who's
next,
maintaining the pond?
And is
Oh,
it on a
yes.
major street or
Guess
something
who's
too,
supposed to
Ryan?
maintain the pond?
The city.
The city of Harvey.
God
Now,
damn.
did you watch my live that I did earlier? Because I covered that the library meeting was canceled, and I took a little drive and showed people just a handful of all the dilapidated properties, empty land, unmowed grass. So we said that time and time again, and publicly. We wrote politicians. We met with politicians. Nobody wants to help. So that's why I joked, but I said it seriously at the press conference on Monday. Where I said, oh, never mind, we're just all, yeah, poor, black, gay, ignorant, whatever people here in Harvey, we don't matter, because
Mhm.
that's how we feel. We just feel like we just get ignored, and you can talk to any politician you want. You can put, you can have petitions. You can protest, and
Still
they just
nothing gets done. But see, that's
right.
the reason why. Cause
It's
see, nothing
crazy.
really got done in Dalton until really the YouTubers got on that ass, and
Still
then
didn't get done. It seemed like she got more unhinged. But Ryan, is this a major street that they're using?
Yeah, it's near the downtown. It's right.
It's near the
It's
downtown district.
right, exactly. Yeah, it's just 2 blocks from me. It's just the stupidest location. There are many other places that we have so much empty land that this could have gone on. It's just it's really bad. So one of my remarks, I compared it to
I think it's a feature for the
Trina then. I
neighborhood.
feel the federal money for infrastructure needs to go directly to the. Oh yeah, that's true. But I mentioned Central Park in New York because it was a very similar story. Rich people decided they wanted a park, and there were a whole bunch of people who they lived. It was like a little village settlement there, where Central Park in New York is now, Manhattan.
Hmm.
And they decided because these people happened to be, some I think were freed slaves. Other people were just, all different sorts of backgrounds, nationalities, but they lived there. But guess what? They were just like us. They were seen as, oh, well, you don't really have much money or clout, so they literally took their neighborhood. They just like they kicked all the people out, and that's where Central Park was built. So what gets me though, this is what gets me. See, I'm not a Trumper, and so I oppose all this crazy stuff I think that Trump is doing, and he's trying to make people fight to turn immigrants against other people and everything. I think it's stupid, but the folks on the MWRD, they'll be the first ones to be like, "Oh, down with tyranny," like our governor, down with tyranny, and Trump's so horrible, and we help, we like everybody, we love the black people and the gay people and the Latino people and we're so diverse. But then, okay, wait, you have a mostly minority board that's doing this to mostly like black families.
Minorities.
Like I'm sorry, but F you. You don't care. You don't care. They,
Well, that's
they,
what I
they
said. What
do
I
things
said
just as
said.
bad
She's
as
like,
Trump. They do things that they will come out. They'll go out of their
that's just
way.
like Trump. He don't care. He don't really care
Right.
about his own people. He don't care about the.
No,
He
absolutely
care
not.
about who can benefit him, and
Right. But
I
being
mean,
in
yeah, he do have some, I'm sure, he got some racist tendencies up in him, but the thing
right.
is the black people do stuff just like he do to their own self, and this is the prime example of us not supporting our own people. When you're in
Right.
leadership,
Right.
that's what you're supposed to be doing,
And I
helping bring up
like
the
what Trina said though. See, they use these people are the tools for the really, really rich people at the top
right,
that control the money and the resources, and they want that land, right? Because even if
exactly.
you are a poor black widow living in Harvey, the crazy thing is, with the way the law is technically, like that's still your house, right? That's still your land. So they have to come up with these schemes to get your butt off that land, and that's the crazy thing. But like what Trina is saying is that they're smart. Okay, they're not going to send an old white guy
Trina,
in.
you want to come on? You want to come up?
Oh, Trina always has a lot to say, but they're not going to use an old white guy to do this. Okay, they know better. they have these people, I call them like
Right.
collaborators, okay? So they're the sellouts, they're the collaborators. They're going to
Exactly.
come to your face, and if they're going to talk, let's say to Foxy to take her house, guess who they're going to send? They're going to send a 55-year-old black woman
Exactly.
who has hair just like her, and she's like, "Oh girl, I went to college too. How are you today?" You know? And that's what they
Mhm.
do. And then people allow it to happen more because they're like, "Oh, well, maybe this is a good project because she looks like me and she talks like me." No, don't fall for it, people. No, 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 no. Don't fall for it. Because guess what? Those same people on the MWRD board, they might be black, they might be gay, they might be Hispanic, whatever, but they're the same ones that are gonna say, "Oh, those white supremacists that Trump supports, blah blah blah. Look at the horrible things they do." This is something this is something like worse than like KKK people have done recently.
Right.
It's the same
Well, what
Exactly.
thing.
the F are you talking
No,
about?
but they have more. See, the thing is, you have more trust in somebody that looks like you, which makes it even more diabolical and
Yes.
sinister than somebody in the KKK.
Right? So
Exactly.
your guard is down, right?
Right.
Right.
But that's how Trump um that's how he got his people to agree with him. He made all those promises and he looked just like them and they all believed him and everybody is like, "Well, why are you believing him? Why are you believing him?" Because he looked familiar. He looks like your uncle. He looks like your granddaddy. And so you're going to trust him more than you're going to trust someone that looks like me.
Right.
And at the end of the day, most Democrats look like us. And so the Democrats are a very diverse group, but it doesn't mean they're not corrupt. They're
Right.
No.
yeah, some of
They
them are
have
just
they
as corrupt.
yeah, they
Yeah.
have they shit with them too. But I think that the majority, I mean, you know what? I used to like values from both parties. Like I used to feel like, I like the capitalists and, trying to make it good easy for businesses to thrive and build themselves up. I feel like that's more of a conservative value. Um, but I think that the Democrats are more people oriented. So
Yeah, and I'm not saying like I, for instance, Precious Brady Davis. I last fall there was another gay activist from Evanston that was trying to help us, and he spoke out against her because he was
hold
right.
on. Where you at, Trina? I'm waiting for you before I start this other video. If you come, bring your ass.
Yeah, I'm sure she saw the link. She knows how that
Oh,
works.
there she go.
But
There she go.
we
What's
had
up,
Oh, hey, Trina.
Trina? Hey, we got Trina in the building. Woo! I've been Ryan like I ain't get all that. The hell?
Right.
And I do more for the damn city than Trina.
Yeah,
No.
Ron said he live in the city.
no,
Hell,
but
Yeah.
he boots on
I
the
I do
think
ground,
advocate,
isn't he?
and I do advocate a lot. I take a lot of heat for people. But I believe in doing the right thing. And what like one of the things that Carl said, this other gay activist, he went after Precious Brady Davis, who's like I said, she's a black trans member of the MWRD board. And I don't disrespect her efforts for, let's say, for helping trans youth. Okay, like that's great. That is something that it's true. Probably Democrats are going to be more likely to do that than Republicans. So I'm not. We're not putting that. I don't want people to misunderstand. We're not putting any of that down. Like or whether it's affirmative action or some of these other things that people are like, yeah, but Democrats support this stuff. It's good. Like no, I'm all for it. Medicaid, Medicare. But the point is just because you do a lot of good, that doesn't like we have to look at each thing separately, right? That doesn't excuse something that you do that is
That
very
doesn't mean
evil.
you get to right. Exactly. Exactly.
You don't
Don't
get
mean
to
you get
say,
to
but I
mess over
supported
us.
Medicaid. I supported
Right.
Medicaid, therefore I can push this old black lady out of her house. No, no, no. It doesn't work that way.
And
No.
and that's what the
No.
Republicans do all the time. They'll give them something good and then they'll do some horrible things to them. And
Right.
they think it's okay because they got that tax break. And hey, Selena, thank you for joining us tonight.
Exactly.
But at
And
the end
that's
of the day, it's all about the Benjamins. And if you can save
yes.
me a few Benjamins, everything horrible that you do, everything else is just quite all right.
Right. Right. Yeah. that is that's what our Democrats do to us too often, you know. But like I said, like I'm a gay man, I support that. I'm glad that like Pritzker says he supports gay rights, he supports different minorities, he supports gay marriage, all this other stuff. It's not bad. It's just that that does still doesn't excuse evil. You know, you can't say, oh, I murdered someone, but I gave $5 in the church collection on Sunday.
And two things could be true at once. You could do good and bad.
Right.
We all got the
Exactly.
devil and the
Mhm.
Lord on one side and the devil on the other side. So,
Yeah, okay.
Right.
Okay.
so that
Fighting that
doesn't.
battle every day.
Yeah, we fight that battle every day, all day. So
Right.
Right.
And I agree with
that
Selena. See,
that doesn't
Selena,
make them
Okay.
But
exempt.
when you do something bad, you should be held to account.
That's
that's
Period.
right.
right.
Because
Well, I
right is
did not
right
hear
and
from
wrong is
Trina.
wrong.
Right, absolutely. And Selena said it's all about the money. I agree with that. Bottom line, that's usually where they get in trouble, right? They get in trouble when, and all the values go out the window when they're like, ooh, we could get some land or some money or something.
Why we not hearing from Trina?
Trina, can you hear us? Or what's going on with you?
Can y'all hear me?
Hey,
Now we
yeah,
can
Yeah.
hi,
hear you.
Selena. Hey,
I wasn't saying anything. I was just pretty much listening, to what was going on. Like,
Have you been
this
keeping
is,
up with the Harvey?
I've been keeping up with Harvey for a long time. I've been watching Harvey since Harvey had that huge FBI bust under Kellogg, since Harvey had the chief of police's relative driving the fucking police car
mm-hmm.
and showing strip club to collect money and getting gunned down. So I've been watching Harvey for a long time.
Would you say Mayor Clark is a great mayor, or would you say he's doing okay, or would you say he's another Tiffany?
I would say he needs to get the fuck out of office before he catches federal charges.
That wasn't
I
an option.
believe
Look.
Well, tell us how you really feel,
All
Trina.
right.
I agree, Trina. I'm with you.
to have a law degree, he couldn't be part of the Illinois bar. Like I seen you cover that he, took his he got his degree from a university like St. Thomas or something like that in the Virgin Islands, which is still part of the United States. However, for him to sit there as a lawyer, practicing, non practicing, Illinois bar or not, and violate the federal rights of people in meetings, this shit is ridiculous. I am sick of watching black leadership run communities into dirt and act like we all supposed to be okay and silent because they got
Right.
a black face. What is wrong with them?
That's why I said that's even worse.
What
Thank you, Trina. Yep, that's it.
That's
That's it
worse.
exactly. But you know what, Trina? They're very happy because they're like, look at Tyrone and his, Rogers, Mister. What do you call him? Foxy Chalk Line or something. Um, Tyrone and his wife. Guess what? They've been stealing money from taxpayers in Harvey for 20 plus years. They're happy because their family, their little group of friends.
They're taken care of, right?
Oh yeah, it's great. They got a
They eating
motorcycle
good.
club. They have so many vehicles. They have vacation homes. They have. I mean, they
running
can.
around here, not like elected officials, but like a monarchy. That's the problem I have with
Yep.
the Democratic Party. Most
Right.
people in the
They
Democratic
do.
Party, with the exception of Governor Pritzker, come from humble beginnings and means, but when they get into office, all of a sudden they become uber
They
rich.
nose is
Like,
in the all in the air. They looking down on the people who got them in that seat. Yeah.
And one more thing about the Democratic Party that I have a problem with, they want to go by seniority, who's next in line, instead of
Right. Instead of
going
who's
by who's
the most
qualified.
qualified,
Yeah,
right.
they want to go, well, so and so been waiting for 20 years
yeah,
and it's his time. Get the hell out of here with that. And we had three of them to die in Congress this year before 3 months was up.
and
that don't make no sense. Why are people
yeah,
dying in they role? Because
Because
you
they
know
need to
why?
because
retire.
They need to retire because
they
you want
need
to know.
they
I know.
need term limits in Congress.
And then on
Okay,
top of that,
if he said
fuck,
term
fuck just
limits, like
term limits, age limits. Yeah. What
Oh,
what
yeah,
right,
kind of
right. Yeah.
what kind of efficiency can this person, or what kind of benefit can this person bring to us? The job probably just easy enough for them to be able to do it because they don't do shit in that role anyway.
Thank you. They have assistants, right? Or staff or whatever.
Yeah, they got their staff, and half of them can't even send a tweet. They can't send an email, a tweet, a text message, or any of that because they're too old and they don't know any technology.
You
That's
need an
right.
age limit. After a certain, I mean,
they
if you want to get your pension or your retirement or whatever they get, you need to go in early and make sure
Right.
you rack up the right amount of time. But after 80, you need to call it or 85. I'll say 85. I'll get you 85.
Well,
How old are people?
they don't qualify for Social Security because it's a cap on that. You can't make over what
A certain amount of money.
two
And
hundred and fifty thousand, I think it is. And so, like Ryan say, they go in there dirt poor and come out ultra rich for whatever reason. I guess I don't know if it's the
Right.
inside trading or
Oh
all
yeah.
the deals
All
or
of the
all the
above.
Well, I was gonna say
lobbyists
all of
greasing
it.
their
Yeah.
palms. I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah.
But baby, they coming in poor as cat's guts, and they coming out almost as rich as Elon Musk.
Baby, Marjorie Taylor
we
Green
have
looked
to.
like the what you say?
I wish Taylor go get some lips, Marjorie Taylor Greene, but we have to stick
Her
together.
crater face. Nah,
Most,
she started off look. What
I
you was
feel
about?
like most important,
Mm-hmm.
the top agenda for anybody that's African American should be reparations. It's no way that this government has money for wars, Israel, Gaza,
Bringing
Ukraine,
South Africans
immigrants,
in.
Right, right. It's all about the money.
Africa.
You're right.
Any
Yeah.
of this shit. But whenever we talk about reparations, it's like, oh, we'll never get that. That's what's wrong with the country now. That's like when a baby daddy don't take care of his kids, like his money
And you
always
just
be
accept
fucked
it.
up. Yeah, and that's why America is like it is. With reparations, that will also bring economics to America because I'm not going back to Africa with reparations. I don't know anything. I may go visit, but I know nothing of that country for me to uproot and go move there. I will still remain in America and spend most of those reparation dollars here in
On
America or
taxes.
put it in America. Right. So I'm not understanding why we haven't gotten reparations. But when Trump won the first time, he spoke out about reparations. No one wanted to come to the table, but Kanye West and Joe Brown or someone like this is ridiculous. The Democratic Party didn't want a conversation because if they can't put their hands on that money first before it even gets to us, they don't want it. That's why our communities look like this because it's a trickle down effect. They get the money from the government because we're a colored community and in need of money financially, and then they get these ARPA grants and funds and other things for infrastructure. Then they put it in the general fund and spend the shit for something else, and the community remains looking fucked up. It makes no sense that they do this and then they wait for the next person to do the same thing. Like we waited for Tiffany to get out of office. No one said anything about Napoleon's agenda with six
Mm-hmm.
thousand dollars for one bingo game. I thought we were done with the bingo. No one said anything
My thing is, why
about
does it
We're not.
always cost so much for each bingo game? Like y'all can't figure out a way to stash some of these whatever y'all the tables and decoration that y'all use and just put it back out. I mean, what?
so Thornton Township is for services only. This is us pulling our money together throughout these municipalities and saying this money is for people on hard times within Thornton Township. That's why it was total BS when they didn't do the Christmas toy giveaway. This
Hmm.
is for service only. If you're not doing service, then just give us all our money back and we won't deal with the shit at all. You know what I mean? This is
Right.
not.
This is to help
This is
needy families, not to fucking have uh
Right.
bingo night.
and as yes, like
This
bingo
ain't no
night, I
club. This
feel
ain't Club Thornton Township.
I think we should consider, disbanding the township because
Really?
people it
Well, the
was
thing
the
about it is, if y'all do
all
that,
that money.
it's harder. It's gonna be harder to track the money. At least within the township, there's one centralized location that you guys can track the money from. But if y'all take it to each individual municipality, then y'all probably gonna really
It
have
would it
corruption.
would probably most of the
as
services would go back to the county, you know.
because if you qualify for different services, you just come. It's
You
not
gonna get them.
allocated municipality is allocated per need. So it's not like we're going Thornton Township spends a certain amount in Dalton, a certain amount of Hazel Crest, a certain amount of Riverdale, a certain amount of Harvey. No, it's whoever needs those funds and they come in. If they qualify for different programs, then you qualify for those funds.
Right.
So, do you
And
think the
You know,
township is necessary, or do you think they should do away with it?
I do. I do. I do think the township is necessary. I do. Because there are times where I remember um I wasn't working at a point because I couldn't find a sitter. When you don't qualify for child care assistance and you're literally having to pay what they're wanting for two children, it's best that one parent stays home or you work an alternate shift. And so this particular Christmas, I went and I applied for the toys. And yeah, they really make sure that you qualify. Like they were like, have you applied for welfare? I'm like, yeah. They like, we need proof. You have to give them the letter. You have to show them, you're not working or whatever the case may be. And there was some little toys, and still as a parent, you're gonna have things, but it did help out because I was like, what do I do? But it ended up with me, getting a job at Ingalls Hospital like right before Christmas time. But yeah, it really helped out. So you never know when you may need assistance with even if it's getting the offset on your property tax. That's really good. So I think it's necessary for the small amount that we all put in. We don't really give the township much, but like $137 of our tax bill, and it goes a long way. You know,
Right.
most of our tax, yeah, most of our property tax goes to the high school district 205 and the elementary school district of Dalton Riverdale and Dalton Calumet City. So that's where the bulk of our money goes into education, and that's where people really need to follow the bag because that's where they screw up a lot of money. Like in Thornton 205,
Yeah. Right.
50
Right.
oh yeah,
dollars
205 is
was a
bad for sure. I do still
they
think though
just
that we
did
could we could probably have a lot of
see it.
those services done by the county.
Yeah, we definitely need the county inspector general, the state inspector general. We need all inspectors to be watching this money, but we
So maybe what
have to
y'all should
realize
do.
we have to
Oh,
report them. We
well, what
don't
I was
just
gonna
sit
say.
here and
What if y'all had it on the county level where the residents would go through the county, or yeah, through the county to apply for the services, but everything came through the township. That way, it's kind of like a
Well, the
a
problem is
paper trail or something. I don't
there's
know.
so little accountability though. That's why I
That's what
was
I'm saying.
saying.
Would that increase the accountability if you guys were?
I mean, maybe,
uh,
but I think we should discuss
That's just
ways
another
of.
hand.
Well, we should discuss ways of you like we already have. Cook County is the second
you know,
largest
having
county in the country by
this,
population. Use that. The county has offices everywhere. why do we need the township? You know?
Right, because
Well,
like in
y'all,
the South,
county,
we don't have townships here.
you
Men, you know that. In the South, we
yeah,
have cities and we have mayors and
right.
Exactly.
and city councils, and we don't.
Even small little what would be considered villages in I it's called cities. Like
It's
because
called
we
cities.
have
That's
Bel
right.
Air. It's like a little neighborhood in Houston, but it's its own little city.
Now they do answer. They send their taxes to Houston. When I was
Mm-hmm.
in Dallas, we had it's 136. 100. I think it's 136 counties in Dallas, and
Mm-hmm.
all of them operate as their own individual town and city, and then they send their tax dollars to Dallas. They collect the taxes for their city, and then they send the money to Dallas
Oh,
as the
Yeah.
headquarters.
you guys don't do counties? You don't have a county
Yeah, we
system?
have counties.
Yeah, we have counties, but everybody, whatever county you in, you send
You
it to
don't
the
say I
next.
live in Harris County though.
No, you say you live in
know
whatever
what?
city that you live in.
No, but like Trina, what she's saying is that, some of these resources, like to
Oh,
help people with
if
employment or whatever,
you
is that done
own
through the
when
counties or how?
yeah, because that's confusing. If you own a home, right?
Oh yeah,
As
Harris
far as
County.
your where does that property tax money go? I know that some of our money goes to Cook County, but it also goes to the village of Dalton, Thornton Township,
Right. It
District
goes to all those
205,
different right. You
Uh,
got it.
the library,
all of it go to
water.
the major city. Like every city collect the taxes, right?
And
Let me just
disperse
give
them.
let me just give you an
Uh-huh.
example. I was in Dallas,
Hmm.
but I lived in a suburb of
Uh-huh.
Dallas. I paid my city
Mm-hmm.
taxes where I lived, and then they sent it to Dallas. So you really paid for the city, and you pay the city of Dallas. Basically, that's how it's going.
So basically you guys pay to your local municipality and then they put it into a big pot and then
Yeah,
they
they send it to
redistribute the
Dallas.
money for
Yeah, because Dallas is considered the county, Dallas County.
Oh.
mm-hmm.
Oh, and did you see status quo said that's helpful. Township/village models do not exist in the Western U.S. The history of townships here, they were put into play when they were, when it was still there were still Native Americans here and it was like new territory. So it was because we didn't have a lot of settlements. So that's why many people have made the argument to just say, well, just get rid of them because
That's why y'all got villages and stuff. Cause of the
well, but at the time, you didn't have a lot of settlements, so you would just they organized
have
government
your
by county.
TP in your little village, and y'all would
Right.
just go to the
Well our
township.
yeah, so all of that is determined by population. Whether you're a village, a city, a
No, it ain't,
town.
cause
That's
Harvey
all
is 20,000 has the same amount of residents as Dalton.
Well, no, but I'm just saying, like the reason for township government was because there weren't many settlements. So that is when in D.C. the central planners were dividing up. I think we were called like the Northwest Territory at the time, but it was they laid out to survey the land. They laid them out in counties. But if you get enough towns and villages and stuff, you don't really need the township because like there's enough other
We're in the
entities.
20th century.
No,
But
there's enough entities that provide the services. So that's why I was wondering, like in the South or in the West, if you have the social services Trina was talking about, is that done through the county? Like if you're like, hey, I need assistance, I lost my job, or I need a food pantry. Is that a county thing? Is that a city
It's a
thing?
city
Where do
thing.
people
It's a
go and?
city. It's a city. It's
Oh, okay,
certain things that goes
so the
through the
cities
city.
usually do that.
The cities handle everything. They just send their taxes to the county.
well, for
But
us, it's Harris County, cause like if we a lot of like Harris County Health and I think Harris County is the one that we go through. Harris County.
Oh, okay.
So
I was just
yeah,
curious. I'm
and and
like,
and,
I'm
and,
wondering.
and he's right because it actually it is based on how big your city is.
hmm
Okay, because some cities do have their own
we have
hospital.
multiple counties too in our city.
Yeah, but it's saying that the townships, Google saying townships in America primarily found by the Northeast and Midwest begin as local government structures brought over from England when the Pilgrims established the 17th century. They
Great.
initially adopted to provide direct citizen involvement in local governance, a concept that resonates with the ideal of self-governance And the land ordinance of 1785 further solidified the township system by establishing a framework for dividing public land into square 6 mile townships, each divided into sections. And
Yep.
so really they kind of got that from England is basically what I'm saying
They brought it
saying
over
here.
with
They
the
brought it over
pilgrims.
from England, yeah. So you had your little war. You got rid of England, but you're still keeping some of their practices. Also, like Louisiana have
Well, that's
wards.
it.
Louisiana is broke up in different wards. What's that about?
We have wards out here too.
Mhm.
We have third ward, fifth ward, fourth ward. Y'all know fifth ward. I'm sure everybody heard everybody know
Oh
Beyonce from
yeah.
third
Now
ward.
those are all yeah, those are all like city type divisions, but that was my whole point, was just to say a lot of people, including Paul Roberts and others, have said that you don't really need, like, for instance, Evanston is just to the north of Chicago. They voted to abolish their township because they whatever services they had that they were just doing through the township, it's already covered through county or different cities or villages. So I'm like, that's great, right? You eliminate a layer of government that you don't need. It's not, I'm not against government. I'm not saying that. My problem is with each layer of government, and a new each one is a separate taxing body, is a new opportunity for people to steal money. That's the problem.
Exactly. Now
So
the
Exactly.
wards are
You're right.
used to ensure more direct representation from the citizens in the local governments, where residents elect their representatives from a specific ward.
Kind of like the
So kind
alderwoman
of
and
like the
alderman.
aldermans, yeah.
Hmm.
That's exactly what I was going to say. So instead of it being a ward, it's an I mean an alderman is a ward. So hey, Butterfly Girl, thanks for joining us. So, we have all these different names and different
It's too
factions.
convoluted. I mean, I feel like that's the reason why the corruption is running so rampant. Cause
yeah,
Yeah. And that's
yeah,
why they take American history
The,
out of the
correct,
classroom so that you
correct.
don't know what's going on and so that the kids won't understand what's going on in America and they can just run it just like Clark running it the way he want to. And I'm like you guys. Um Nathan haven't told us what he's gonna do with Thornton Township.
right.
Have Jason House and now Jason House could be just like, I'm not saying that he is. I'm not saying that. But now he has a board that's going to vote with him 100% of
Without
the way
any
without
dissent.
any
Right.
objection. So anything that they want to do. So I don't know um if it's a good thing or if it's a bad thing to have everybody just,
Because you can start
going.
in one way
Yeah, you
and
I
right.
don't think it's a good thing because I don't think there's enough accountability.
right.
have to hold elected officials accountable. That is the only the difference between a so-called good neighborhood and a bad neighborhood is how well you hold the people who are making decisions accountable.
Right.
That's
You
true.
cannot
Because you go into these
elect
white neighborhoods or these affluent neighborhoods, and they are immaculate.
Immaculate because they're voting.
and if
You go
you
into
look
these
at
black neighborhoods, we throwing
you look
trash all over the place. We don't give a damn about how the shit look. We let cars
it's,
pile up in people's front yards. I mean, is
you have to hold people
but you gotta
accountable.
hold yourself accountable too, though. We gotta hold ourselves accountable too.
Absolutely. And so I don't throw trash out everywhere. But I have had people, just for instance, I've had a neighbor younger than me, you know, I'm like, okay, I'll give you a ride. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker threw a Pepsi bottle out the window. And I was like, bitch, get out my window, you know? And I was just
Right.
like, damn, it's a bitch. But it's
Hmm.
I
like, no,
learned my lesson. I think I threw
or
something out
no.
the window one time and the cop pulled me over, y'all.
I finna say,
I
I know
almost
you didn't
got a
try to throw.
ticket.
Oh
We got
wow.
signs in. Man, we got signs
So
all in Texas. Man, you know better mess than that. We got a sign that say "Do not
do
mess
not
with
mess
Texas."
with Texas. Baby, that cop pulled me over and I couldn't believe it. And ever
I don't
since
know why
that,
you
I said
couldn't.
I will never ever let her again. You ain't
You
gotta
know
tell
we
me
got.
but once.
You
Now
know we got
Maryland is
these.
like that, but
We
DC hasn't. DC
we
don't care.
Yeah,
we have these super robo-cops just waiting on you to do something. You better not
Oh
even have no
wow.
smoke coming out your muffler before they pull you up on the side of the road. I'm talking about in town,
Yeah.
out of town, interstate, out of state. You better not do nothing in
True.
Texas.
True.
job.
Now Maryland told it's just like Texas. You better not throw nothing out that window. You better not go look in the schools district. You better act like you're an old man and an old woman. You better drive 20 to 25 miles an hour, or you'll
You
get a
better not even
$150 ticket.
you better
Now
not
in
even be on no
DC,
cell phone in the school district here in Texas. You can't even be on your phone
now
if you're in the school
DC,
district.
DC is a whole different ball game. A majority of us in DC, they don't care. Look, I know because I live in DC, and the area I live in, you see trash almost on every corner, piled up. The trash cans aren't dumped. The sewage drains are not cleaned out. The
And
water
to me,
is
I
flooded
don't think
every
the
time you turn around.
Everybody want to watch TV and mind their business.
but
Somebody
no,
should be calling. Hey, the hell aren't you cleaning the sewage drain? FOIA the I bet you when you FOIA and find out how much they spending for sewer maintenance, people
Right.
answer. Like they got all this stuff going on in Dalton, but I smelt them burning shit again when I got home, and they ain't burnt shit in a while.
Well,
They was
Trina,
burning that dude
I
today.
calls them all the time. They supposed to pick our trash up twice a week, and I make good and sure they come and pick their trash up, and that's exactly what I tell them. I pay my bill for sewage, and I need y'all to, and for trash, I need y'all to come out here and do y'all job.
Now we
If
got
you
look,
guys
we got a sewage location, and guess where our sewage location is? Right at the edge of DC. And where I live at, I say I'm about 15, maybe 20 minutes from the place. In the summertime, it is horrendous. If okay, we don't have air.
dang.
If we don't have air on and we open our balcony or open our window, the smell is so
Oh.
bad that you think you in the sewage
Sure.
place. We have to close the
Wow.
door,
Oh.
Wow.
close the
And y'all
window.
pay for that. And y'all pay for that.
Oh.
Yep, and we pay for that with our taxes.
it causes cancer.
That's
And it
crazy. Paying for
causes
your own
cancer.
demise.
And look, it's right at the edge of the city. It's in the city limits. That's the problem. It's not on the outskirts of the city. It's within the city limits. So
So
the sun,
taxpayers are for,
How
for the,
Okay, so how long are we gonna eat shit, smell shit, take shit until we do shit that will hold these people accountable? Because this is just simple paperwork that will have a ass in federal court. Chris Court need to have his ass in federal court. Motherfucker, you don't get reelected. You already had your chance. You violated the rights of the people, having people arrested, removed from meetings, anybody, all of that silly ass shit. This is not a goddamn monarchy. I don't give a fuck what they black ass say. I don't give a
right.
fuck what they black ass think. This is not some closed off community that's not a part of America because the hell we black. I don't give a damn what they think. And if they gotta have their ass in federal court, that's why I feel God has me here with my mind right at this time. Because I hate to do this because on medical leave, you should be making yourself well. But here's the thing, my mental health needs to be intact just as well as my physical health. And I can't keep watching my rights being violated, knowing that my health is failing and my children need to know what the fuck is in place and what they need to do to keep these motherfuckers in line. This is not a goddamn plantation where they keep us down and keep us quiet, sick the police on us. Fuck all that. You going to jail. Those are jailable offenses. But you can't wait for the disparity fairy, right, to come out the sky and say, hey, FBI, he's doing this. They can watch him doing it, but you need a complaint.
Right.
You need a complaint.
You got to
Because if
speak.
they're not right meeting at the time, you see what I'm saying? You need a complaint.
But look how long it's
That's
taking
like
them to look how long it's taking them to take care of Tiffany. Them people been complaining for 3 or 4
hey,
years.
pause.
Right, right,
Y'all
right.
made up a lot of shit about Tiffany. So when you say, look how long it's taking them to come get Tiffany, it's about how much is bullshit and how much is real. Now, as far as her driving around in a Tahoe, that was afforded by Frank Zuccarelli in his thing for supervisor. She's supervisor, she gets $75,000 for transportation annually. That's fucking ridiculous. That's goddamn ridiculous for anybody. For anybody. Black, girl, old white man. It don't matter who it is. 75,000 ridiculous. She also gets a fucking what they call that shit? A wardrobe allowance?
Right.
Right.
Man,
Unnecessary
shit.
ass shit.
What the hell is that? So when people get to talk about she bought all them wigs, she got a wardrobe allowance of damn 6 figures. She get as many wigs as she want to. She ain't even really spending this shit. Travel allowance on a daily.
And see,
You
this
know
is
what
the
I
thing
mean?
though,
If
Trina.
you in the
Trina, this is my
state, it's
thing.
ridiculous, right? You get hold on. This is the real big clincher. How in the fuck did they decide that she would be grandfathered into Frank Zuccarelli 6 figure salary of 300 something $1,000 when he been sitting there over 30 years? She gets that salary
They
because
gave her
he
that
did.
salary
That
They,
wasn't right.
because they
they,
needed to they
they gave
needed
her the
to
job too. Remember, they didn't
They got
even vote for her. They
they
installed her.
appointed her. They appointed her. But look, the reason why they let her
they
keep that
gave her salary because
for
Thornton
her to be a
Township
yes
was
woman,
holding
for her to do what they want, for her to do what they wanted her to do.
no, no, because Thornton Township holds 42% of its assets, which is $12 million in cash. You understand? When you watch the budget meeting, when the lady said cash on hand from the prior year to the current year, it went from 11 million to 6 million.
What does
Okay?
that mean?
Napoleon, what does it mean? It means 5 million motherfucking dollars is missing. Where
Where are
is it?
you saying? Do you think? Do you are you saying that you know where it went, or are you just saying that
I'm
the amount went
saying,
down?
like I told them, if they got to dig up a body and shake pockets, they're going to find out wherever that money went. So if the money went out the door before they put Tiffany in, motherfuckers going to find out. If the money went out the door as Tiffany was sitting there, people going to find out. Because here's the thing: at the end of the day, you just can't walk in and walk out of nowhere at Fifth Third Bank where Stephanie Wiedemann says the money has been held. Why haven't they given Stephanie Wiedemann her job back after all the hard work she did?
I know.
Huh?
I heard about that.
But
So
but
tell.
Oh, I have a question for you guys. Did you? I pulled up an example tax bill. Do you want me to show you what I'm talking about when I say we have a lot of taxing bodies?
sure.
Sure. Yeah. Pull it
But
up.
but I thought Napoleon was holding back the money because she was in office, Trina.
Hmm.
Some of the
But
grant money. I thought
also,
he was holding back some of that money because she was in office and she was out of control, spending it out of control and wouldn't produce any receipts.
hmm.
Okay,
Here's
there you
the
go.
thing: she can't spend in Dalton or Thornton without board permission. She can only spend up to $5,000 increments in Dalton with the village administrator's permission. But she can't spend shit in Dalton or Thornton without the board permission.
Well,
So
and whatever.
that's what makes it
I
total
don't even care what anybody says about what they thought about Tiffany, because you know what? The first thing the
not
Thornton Township Board did
only
is they voted to get rid of the ordinance that said taxpayers can't you can't use taxpayer money for your image. Why would you get rid of that? To me, that says like they don't care. They just care because they didn't want Tiffany doing it.
Right, right. So, and
Y'all
that's
taxes
another
low
question.
as
I
fuck.
have a question for you, Trina, before you go into whatever you're about to say. Can you answer this? I know Jason House is a great man, as a human being and a person. You could tell he's, sincere right now. Do you think that once he figures out
No shit about
all his power, what'd you say?
Jason has been there 8 years already. Jason been there for 8 years. Y'all act like Jason just came and ran for mayor and won. Jason's been there 8 years already.
I
I know
understand that,
Jason.
but
I've
he
watched
doesn't know the
Jason and
role.
how he moves.
But he hasn't been a mayor, so which means he hasn't had the access to all the benefits of being a mayor. Just like Tiffany wasn't a mayor, but she was defending the residents, and then when she got into office, something changed.
Hey, to being a mayor. Why is the first thing on your agenda bringing Riley Rogers back into the fold? Riley Rogers is part of the reason, most of the reason why we're in financial debt right now. What happened to that $4 million that the board voted that Riley Rogers has sole control over when he was supposed to be installing digital water meters at everybody's residence? See,
Y'all didn't
that's
get
when they
digital water
fucking fell
meters.
out. Hell no, you got to pay for them. What did he do with that money? I can tell you what he did with some of it because I watched him put the shit in the general fund when the lawyer was advising them that that's illegal to do. But why would you still do the shit when your lawyer telling you that that's illegal to do and then pay payroll? Like, that's stupid. But what about this sewer fund that was sewer fees in Dalton used to be one flat fee of $2.74. Then they talked about, oh, it fluctuates. The sewer fund has millions and millions and millions of dollars in it. Yet they maintain no sewers in Dalton. And you always hear people come in talking about this flooded and that flooded. Motherfucker, y'all need to be paying for these people houses that's flooding because ain't no way in hell. Y'all knew a long time ago that this infrastructure was terrible in the 70s. So ain't no way y'all got the Dookie factory here flushing 200,000 gallons of sewage through an old ass sewage system and let it rain. Then you got doo doo all in the damn street, literally. This is ridiculous. And they burning it and making a profit. They ran these people out of Gary, Illinois. This is
Wow.
highly carcinogenic. It causes 89% more cancer than any other carcinogenic facility that would be in the area, which it isn't. So why are we sitting in, breathing in shit, smelling shit, and being poisoned by the cancer that's in it? Not to mention all of the disease and bacteria in the air. Come on now.
So tell me this.
And it's like,
Yes, we have an issue with Dalton, but this show we want to really kind of highlight how evil and how horrible of a mayor Christopher Clark is. So,
I'd say this one more. Everybody, listen to what I'm saying. We have to work together and put the pen to paper on Chris Clark's ass. Plain and simple. Those are FOIA violations, Open Meeting Act violations. He does not get a second chance. But what is more concerning to me is that Kobe Chapman says that she wants to lead as mayor. But how are you going to lead as mayor if you're not giving the people the proper tools to protect themselves as citizens under the law? If you can't tell the residents of Harvey that these are blatant civil rights violations, FOIA violations, OMA violations, and filing that paperwork, if you as a Delta and a master degree holder, if you're not informing and educating the residents of their rights, then I will have to question you because I don't like the fact that people, black people that are highly educated, keep people in a position of not being educated of their rights and not being able to fill out paperwork to protect themselves. Okay? I don't like that. And anybody got a problem with that, you can meet me at the beach for the Yama and Ya Festival where the real people that run shit be.
I
I'll
think
meet you
that
at the
there
beach.
is a I think that there is a
He
point
said
to
at
what
the
you're
beach.
saying when it I feel like there's a point to what you're saying when it comes to Kobe. I think that she is actually fighting for the residents and she's meeting up with the residents. And she's putting herself at risk of getting, arrested
No,
for the resident
no,
causes.
no,
But I
no, 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 no.
you
You
disagree with
give
me?
people the tools themselves. Fuck you, fuck
But that's what
going
I'm
to
just
jail.
saying. Let me what I'm saying.
You know what? I'm going to give it to the people. I'm going to give it to the people. I'm going to give it to the people. I will make sure that join me on my live. I will, if you need me to stop cursing, I will, because maybe it'll calm me down some. But you need to know how to protect yourself against the police if they pull you over on some bullshit, against elected officials and accountability. You have a right to every fucking receipt that they get, every dime that they spend. You have a right to that receipt, and if they don't give it to you, they will have their ass in court. We need to, and actually it's a whole office, right, Kwame
Question.
Raoul, called the
Answer this
POC office, Public
Trina, don't make me mute
Accountability
you. Don't act like you don't hear
Board.
me talking.
Go ahead.
All right. Answer this question. Do you think that Kobe Chapman's intentions are in the right place? And do you think that she is genuinely and sincerely trying to help the residents of Harvey?
I think, like I was born and taught, that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. What the fuck can you do for the people when this motherfucker hauling you to jail and you got to call a lawyer for accountability? The people need to be, the average person will not be able to get a civil rights attorney to represent them without retainer unless there was something that was very egregious done to them by that public official in a meeting. Like Ryan would have had to get his ass whooped by the police for these lawyers to step up and say, hey, Ryan, I want to represent you. I didn't like the way he put you out of that meeting there in Harvey. I seen what he done to you. You see it when it's money, money, money involved, but it's the same fucking thing involved. People's civil rights. You understand what I'm saying? Do y'all want to see me haul these hoes to court to show you what it
I
do?
think that everybody whose rights were violated should um consider hauling their asses to court.
What you want to
But
do, Ryan? What you want to do? I'm right here, willing, able to help. What you want to do, Ryan? You gonna let him get
No,
away
I
with
say
that shit?
no. I say go do it. Yeah, I mean if you can get them,
Courthouse then.
Trina, go get them for us.
Let's take them to the federal courthouse.
but
Let's take them to the federal
1000%
courthouse.
you
Because
definitely agree though, Trina. You agree that Kobe Chapman would be a great replacement for Clark though, right?
I don't agree with shit. I said what I said. I don't know any her. I said what I
So
said.
who
He
would you
needs
say
to
would be a replacement? Who would be a good replacement in your eyes? Because you keep talking
somebody that
in circles, but I don't
look.
understand. I don't
I'm
understand
not
what your end
talking in
goal
circles.
is.
People continue, right, to raise their hand and say they are the better person if they cannot stand on protecting their own rights. and standing on that shit like Plymouth Rock without the assistance of an attorney that's there to sue the city of Harvey for money for violating her rights. The taxpayers have to pay for that lawsuit. Chris Clark's not paying for that. Do you understand that part? So I don't think
She
anything
didn't put
except for
herself
what
in
I
that
said.
position. Chris Clark put her in that position. She didn't put herself in that position. And if you're smart, you're not going to go against a lawyer because he's not an attorney, but he is a lawyer. You're not going to go against a lawyer without your own proper representation, even no matter how good or knowledgeable you are in the law. You're not a lawyer.
Representation as far as any criminal offense in Harvey is one thing. Representation in litigation in suing Harvey for Chris Clark's blatant federal civil rights criminal acts and having her arrested maliciously is another. There need to be criminal charges, not financial burdens put on the taxpayers of Harvey, like I stated, because if she gets
She didn't
a
remove
$1
herself from the meeting though,
million from them
Trina. So
having
what you're
her
saying is
locked up
irrelevant
and being
because you're
put in
talking
that
about
position, at the
but
end
you're
of the
talking
day,
about something that she had no control over, Trina. You're talking like she has the control to tell the police not to do something. If they want to violate her rights, they can violate her. They have
no,
the
I'm not.
power to violate her rights, and there's nothing that she can do about it except respond the way that she's doing so with legal counsel.
I, did I speak on that? No, I did not.
You're
Like
saying,
I
but you're
said, I
saying that
stated
she's
very
allowing
early
her.
on
You're
before.
saying she's allowing her civil rights to be violated, and she's not fighting for herself. She's not doing enough to fight for herself.
No,
You're going in and out.
I said what I said. You cannot stop your civil rights from being violated. Your response to your civil rights violation needs to be a response where other residents can understand and represent themselves when their civil rights are being violated, and
So
not
they
a
should
response
understand the
to
way that she
where you're going
responded.
to.
They should understand that the proper way to respond is with legal counsel. Do not do what Trina is telling y'all to do and go represent yourself. Get legal counsel. Is
What are you talking about?
you're saying
I
that
clearly stated earlier. You see, your problem is that you want me to endorse Kobe. I know nothing about her to endorse her. I don't just go running my mouth. What I
no,
stated
my
was
problem is
her
no, I
legal
don't have a
defense
problem with who you want to endorse, but what you're not going to do
stated.
is get on here and talk about stuff that you don't know anything about. If you're saying that she didn't represent herself in the way that you wanted her to represent herself, then that's one thing. But you're not going to get
That
up here and say that the
said,
people should be on here representing themselves and she is a horrible representation because she's not doing that. You can get as
go
loud
off,
as you
nigga, go
want. You
off.
can get as
Because
loud as you want because your mic can't accept you going as loud. So we can't hear nothing that you're saying.
about
The louder that you get, we can't hear
one
nothing that you're saying. So my suggestion to you would be to calm your nerves and bring your tone
yeah,
down.
you
Bring your tone down,
money
Trina.
because you
I
want to
don't want
make this about
anything.
me
I
to
don't
deflect.
I don't want to make it about you because
You
this is
want to.
about Kobe.
I said early on, maybe you ain't have your ears on, that her legal defense and her lawyer and her being charged for
Is the
any
reason why
criminal
you don't
offense
like
is, I said, it's totally different than her representation for suing Harvey on the back end for what happened to her. So don't try and manipulate my words when I clearly stated that anything that had to do with any criminal shit with her, then yes, she needs her lawyer there. I said that very early on. Plain and
So what
simple.
would you have
Okay?
done in response? Because you have all these critiques on what she not doing right. What would you have done,
I would
Trina?
be calling the AUA office and the local federal FBI office in Orland to
Do you
file
know if she's
criminal
done that?
charges.
Do you know if she's done that?
Do you know if she did? Do
Do
you know if
you?
she did?
You
Don't
the one
ask.
saying you're
Do
saying
you
you're basically you're
ask
saying what you
me?
would have done like she didn't do that though. You're saying what
Do
you
you
would
know if
have
she did?
done like you know that she didn't do that.
Do you know if she did? Do you know if
I'm
she
not
did?
speaking against how she responded though.
No, no,
You're the one speaking against how she's responded. I'm not the one doing it.
you're
But
not.
you want to know what? We're not gonna make this conversation. We're not gonna make this a show about a back and forth between Trina Downs, who doesn't live in Harvey.
Who hood ass shit, and that's why black people in the predicament they is because y'all just talking and you're not doing proper vetting of the candidate.
Sweetheart, do you
Do
not see
proper.
all of the research that I just put up on this screen today during the show? All the facts that
No,
I
I
now
just got.
presented, and I have more facts to release. We're not even done. So please, again,
So
you're speaking out of turn. You don't know what you're talking about, but you're just
if you're,
loud.
if you're presenting facts that Chris Clark is an asshole, you're late. Just like you're late with Kevin Nolte. Okay, I wrote
So
the school board Nolte in 2018. I sent an all-out email about that motherfucker in 2018 and got the fuck fired. So yeah, you're kind of late. I be watching these ads. When I tell you I know these assholes, I know
I'm not late because someone sent me the information. I
them.
responded to it when I received the information. Furthermore, I do not live in Dalton,
Well, we
sweetheart. I just started talking about Illinois from Tiffany Henyard about a year and some months ago. So that's the
here
first
and
time
some
that
months ago.
Illinois
So that's the
got
first time
on my radar. So that's the first thing. So I'm not late.
that
I would say because I'm so early and new to this party, I'm doing far more than what you're claiming to be doing. Because all you're doing right now is causing dissent. You don't have no candidate
you
that you think is qualified for the position, but you want to talk about everybody that's that's
you will see that I was the first one to take the village of Dalton, Riley Rogers, Tiffany
but it
Henyard,
didn't
George
move the needle any. It didn't move the needle any direction. You probably put out
into
100 videos and it didn't move the needle any direction. Anyways, what I'm
Riley.
about to do now, though, I'm done with this conversation because this show is not about me going off on no
Because
Trina Downs because I will
you're not
wear you the fuck out. I'm not that person. So what
what
I'm going to
because
politely do is release you from off the show, and you're
you're not
more than welcome to go back into the audience. Goodbye. All right, guys. Sorry y'all had to endure that. But when people talk crazy, I just need to know where they're coming from. Like I have to ask questions to figure out where these crazy, idiotic things that are coming out your mouth, why you're saying them. She obviously didn't have any answers. She is a chaos agent. God damn. But you know what, Ryan? I know before it was my fault. So I apologize, y'all. That was me. I sent the invitation. That
Well,
was
I
me.
just want to acknowledge Nurse Petty in the chat and Laura Beck. And let's get to this tax bill that Ryan put on the screen, Minion.
And that'll
We don't.
calm your nerve for a while, okay?
Yeah, yeah. Let's get
Okay.
back to the business at hand because we were going great, and everybody's just kind of passionate about what they're saying, and everybody's trying to get their point across. And so the whole thing about it is not Ron is the only one that live in Harvey. We don't live in Harvey, but we're just trying to highlight the issues and the problems and really just trying to help out the best way that we can and really just try to put the most accurate information that we can put out there. So this is a tax bill that Ron
Oh,
is giving us an example of taxes in Harvey. And
okay,
so
therefore,
yeah,
if
so
y'all don't
Minion,
mind.
I'll go ahead and let you talk, Foxy. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I want to go ahead and get this so we can have a pleasant note. I just heard from Kobe. She said, "Thank you so much for bringing all of this to light." And she said, they really need that, and and she thanked us all for doing it. And she said, "Continue to do it for them because they really need the support." That's
Oh,
my
okay.
message for y'all.
Oh, that's
Oh,
great. We're glad to hear from Kobe. Thank you so much
yes.
for that message, Foxy. But yeah, let's go ahead and go over this tax bill, guys, and you know,
Right.
move
And
along.
I agree. I think it is yeah, it's great to get the exposure, because some people have never heard of Harvey. So
Yeah,
a lot of people are still learning who people are, what's going on, where is it.
right.
So yeah, there's a place, I think, for every level of education.
Yeah,
Um,
and Tiffany had to start somewhere, so we all have to start somewhere to start trying to bring the story to the forefront, and hopefully, it can get as big as hers, and we can get some results done. It's the
right. I was
goal.
gonna say, I know I'm just thrilled that people are interested. It's like, yay!
Yeah.
I always It makes me happy that people are thinking of other people, and that we all want to make the world better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
But I
started checking in Harvey when they were election time. And everybody's like, "Well, what are the content creators going to do?" Certain people was talking about doing this. I had went to something else, but I changed my mind because it was something about Harvey that just kept sticking to my mind. That kept coming up on my Facebook. So I said, "Let me see what's going on with this city." And when I started investigating into it, I said, "Whoa." Now I see where Tiffany getting all her pointers from and what she was trying to do in Dalton. So that's what
Hmm.
made me turn my attention to Harvey to really get into Harvey to find out what's going on. And then when I started watching the meetings, I like to go back to the old stuff, just bring myself to the present to find out really
Hmm.
what's going on and hearing what's going on and what's
Hmm.
being said and what's being done. See, a lot of time people don't look at the past. They just look at the present moment and be guessing what's going on. But I always
Right.
go back to the beginning of where like the very last and that went back. So I said, "Oh, y'all been in debt for a while and this been going on. Now he's in office and nothing has changed. This is his second term and nothing has changed. And that's sad. That's not positive. And then you look at the town, um, no apology, just me, drove through um Harvey to let us see what Harvey looked like. And I'm like, "Oh my God." And you saying you got Harvey is better, but it's not. It's worse. So
Right.
how are you banning people from having businesses and telling them because they're not paying up the taxes or working with them so they can pay on the taxes so they can keep the business instead of shutting them down and saying, "Well, you ain't paid the tax in this long." Work with them, sit down and talk to them. Sometimes it's how you present yourself to them to make them want to. Okay, all right, I see I'm in debt. What can I do? Okay, let's do this. Let's do that. Okay, we'll do that. And it might work out. And you still got your businesses, and it don't look a desolate like it do now. It look terrible now. And then you
Hmm.
sitting back and acting like you're sitting on a throne with what? Your kingdom don't look like shit.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Pothole city.
Right.
Potholes, businesses closed. You got
Boarded up businesses. I mean, there's so many boarded up businesses.
you got borders, and what barriers in front of the doors of the businesses. I mean, how you gonna sit on the throne and act like you king when you got it? The throne you sitting on is shit.
And I can't get over the fact that you boarding people up in these buildings. That I can't get over that. That is just to me that's the worst of the worst.
And then
And then
the
you
owner said you gave them the directions to do that. And then when it was done and they got news media, then all of a sudden, oh, it was the owner that did it. We had nothing to do with it. No, you had something to do with it. You the mayor. You run the city. Come on, please stop throwing everything off on everybody else and take responsibility and be accountable for the shit that you do.
And he just got reelected too, didn't he?
Yeah,
Hmm.
this is
In
second
2 years
term.
ago.
2023. Yeah, in
How many
2023.
years ago?
2.
Two.
In 2023.
Okay, so we got what?
2
Four
more
more, two
years.
more years of this.
27. But I
Okay.
want I hope he resigns or I don't know something
Yeah,
and
good
then
luck
But
with
the thing
that.
is, Tiffany stayed throughout her whole term, and we started talking about her about 2 years. I
Yeah.
know it's about a year and a half, at least
Two
for
two
me.
years in. two
Two
years in
years
is
in.
when the story started hitting the scene. So I guess this is just perfect timing, and fortunately just in time to vet
The new
somebody else and to get
right,
and try to get somebody else in office that's going to actually help the people. Okay.
And say the more information that we dig up, the more information we give them. That's like Kobe, Ryan, and them, and the stuff that Ryan bring up, and we bring it to the front line. Also helps them to fight harder against them because then eventually he's going to have to answer because the media are going to start coming in more often. See now
right.
the media came there this last meeting. Look how humble doing scriptures, letting them clap
2 scriptures, baby. He did a prayer at the beginning and a prayer at the end.
and two scriptures. And you ain't never done that. Then you let the people talk and you didn't do the buzzer like mom, mom on them, and you didn't cut them off and you didn't contradict what they were saying. You let everything go so smoothly because there was so many media people there. But he think that he get over, the media leave, everybody's satisfied that he ain't doing nothing. There's no problem here. Looks like there's no problem here. I don't know what's going
Mhm.
on. So maybe he's done changed. That's a good thing. They're gonna go back to something else. Then he's gonna go right back to what he was doing before. This is all a political game with him. And
Right.
we just us content creators has to stay on his neck and let him know just because they left don't mean the rest of us have. And we're going to stay on your neck. I'm going to stay in your ass, and that's how it's going to go.
Hmm. All righty then. On that note.
I know that's right.
Yeah, on that note, anybody
Don't
want
we
to
love
explain?
it when Foxy get a little when she get
Right, right, baby.
riled
She get
up?
lit. She get
Okay.
lit. And she said she is keeping that foot on your neck, sir.
Okay.
So who's going to explain this tax bill that's increased for
Yeah.
$695.65?
Yeah, I was gonna say I just wanted to show you guys so you get an idea. One of the reasons why Illinois has such high property taxes, and even if you have good, honest politicians, let's say over all these boards, it's not sustainable. So we're losing a lot of residents to Indiana, Wisconsin, other states. Because most of our education funding comes from property taxes. So you have a huge gap, right? So communities that have higher property values and more properties, like we have a lot of empty properties that don't pay any taxes. But the communities that are doing better, that are richer, they get a lot more money for their local money for their schools, plus the money from the state. Versus like a town like Harvey, okay, we're a lot more reliant on the state and federal funding. So there are several proposals that I agree with as far as to shift the burden away from property taxes to fund education. But one of them is just consolidating. So look, this tax bill right here, this I took this from one of the houses that the mayor owns. Okay, so as you can see at the top, most of the tax for 2023, what that went to the city of Harvey. That is unusual, but that's because the city has been managed so poorly. Typically, you will find in this area the schools will be at the top. But like Trina did say, District 205, that's the high school district. Then you have one of the elementary school districts, 152. Then you have the library district. Then you have the park district. These are the two boards that the McCaskells, who are also very corrupt, they currently control those two boards. Then you have our local community college. Then here you have general assistance. So that is handled by the township. So that's what I meant when I was saying, well, maybe we could, and take some of that tax money and put it, like divert it to the county or something else. And then town of Thorn, that is also the township. So on this tax bill, this is a very low tax bill, about 1,500 or so. So what is that? About $60 or so, or 55 is going towards the township. Then you have the MWRD, the evil board that pushed out our residents. Cook County, Public Safety, Health, Cook County Forest Preserve, Road and Bridge Thornton. Oh, here's another. This is another Thornton Township tax. Okay, it's not a lot. The township only has, I want to say, like 9 miles of roads. So again, that would be very easy that we could. I think as a township, we could hand that out between the county and some municipalities. We could get rid of that, and have other people handle that. And then, oh, I didn't even know about this consolidated elections. That's another tax we pay. And then here, this is Illinois is like the king of taxing bodies. Look at the South Cook Mosquito Abatement
Shut
District
up.
in Harvey.
They
So
so
this is
silly.
just the southern part of Cook County, and it's just to handle mosquitoes. Also, Janet Rogers, who's Tyrone, aka Chalkline.
Do y'all have mosquitoes?
I mean, we do, but again, do you need another board?
I mean, I don't
Because
like
that
mosquitoes, so
Tyrone,
I would pay that $2.30 to have y'all abate all the damn
yeah,
mosquitoes.
but
'Cause
but
you,
the county could probably do that, right? So that's my point, is that in most other places in the country, it seems like counties or whatever would do it. So we have this extra layer of government called the township, and then these extra other things. They're all separate. They're all separate boards. Tyrone Rogers, who's the 6th ward alderman, Mr. Chalkline, his wife, I think she was let go finally, but they did a report on her, Janet Rogers. She was hired and paid a lot of money to be the director of this South Cook mosquito abatement board. And thank God some journalists exposed it. They said she doesn't have any qualifications. She doesn't know anything about dealing with, like, insects and mosquitoes and controlling their population. But that's how these people push up our tax bills. We have so many different
by
taxing
these
bodies.
little bitty fees.
Yes. So no, but I mean, even more so, like, just the point, like all these you see on the tax bill, each one of those, has some sort of board that it reports to. Now, some of them just have one board. Like I said, the Thornton Township, you have the Road and Bridge, and then you have Town of Thornton and General Assistance Thornton. Okay, so those are three that fall under one taxing board. But still, imagine City of Harvey, that's one board. The high schools, that's another board. 152 is another board. This is a separate board. This is a separate board. So every board you have, that is another. When we're telling people get involved in your community, that's another board. I mean, could you imagine? I love being involved. What if I went to all these meetings? I mean, I don't even know if it would be possible and still be able to work and, take care of a dog and my house and everything. So that it's a real problem. Like there's so many different boards, and that is where you get your professional grifters. So they get in on these boards, and they know that people can't keep track of all these different governmental boards, and they're all separate taxing bodies. So you can say, let's say we get in the best mayor of Harvey possible. Guess what? It's not necessarily going to do anything, because we still have the high school
All the
board,
different
the
boards. Yeah.
elementary
Right.
schools. You have the
Right.
live. Now, years ago, I can tell you that the public library used to be under the city. So that was one thing and I think that was good, right? It was one thing that was condensed. But you could still have people stealing money on all these boards, even if you had an awesome run city government. So it really is a problem. And the only other states I can think of that have that big of an issue that I know of off the top of my head would be New Jersey and Louisiana, I believe. Because when it
And
comes to corruption, we're always the top three: New Jersey, Illinois, and Louisiana.
He's
and,
absolutely
and
right.
that number has changed from 1558. That's changed to 1775 as of March of 2025. So
Right. And
that
that's a low tax
1558-22,
bill.
huh?
Yeah, that's a low tax bill. So
Right.
it's not uncommon for a very
I was
because
about to say this isn't that much for a tax
no,
bill.
this is a very small ranch house, and more than likely, actually, I should look. Oh, I think I closed the website, but I'll
But
look
the
again.
medium
Once we have
house in Harvey, the houses in Hardy, the medium price is they're worth like $41,000. So that
Oh,
is high for
really?
it. Yes, so that
Is
is
that what
high
our
for a
median
tax
is?
bill.
Oh, I don't know if it
That's
was
what it
that low.
says. That's what it
Oh,
says in Google. Google says
Oh,
$41,000. So that's a lot of money
for
for
that
those
tech, right?
for
For
that
those
type of
houses,
taxes. Yeah,
right? You right. You right. You right.
they're paying like 6.86% of taxes
Mm.
in Illinois. That's a lot of money. If that
Right.
house is $41,000, their tax bill should be that 695 that it increased. That's what the taxes should be. It's
695.
six
well,
ninety
but this,
five,
You're right.
now
not
see,
not
this is,
triple.
but this is with the homeowners exemption. So if you didn't have that, so
It
the
Yeah,
would be even
it
more.
would be
taxes
even
are
more than that.
37. Yeah, about 37.
Wow.
And how much of an exemption do the senior citizens get, and do they get homesteading exemptions?
No, it says here they get nothing. Senior
Well,
says
so
exemption zero. Senior
But
yeah.
freeze
that's for that.
exemption
But that's
zero.
for
That's
this
for this
person's tax bill, though,
It
homeowner, right?
Ron.
depends. Yeah. Well, that's the scandal with the seniors that Mandy was pointing out, though, because she does finance. The
Yeah,
scandal with all these politicians paying money, basically bribing seniors because they know they'll vote for them, is that by the time the seniors get their homeowners, their senior citizen, and let's say they're low income, and their senior freeze, a lot of them pay next to nothing or nothing for their property taxes. Yet, so you have people like me, I'm in my 40s. You have people, let's say from their 20s to, whenever the exemption kicks in, like 65 or something. But, those people are paying the bulk of the taxes, and the politicians ignore you. They go and, like Tiffany and Clark does the same thing. They just
seniors.
give free handouts to the seniors that are retired. They
Yeah.
barely pay any taxes.
But
And
Ryan, they paid taxes all their life, and they qualify for that exemption because
no, no,
don't
no. But that's not the point. The point is that everyone else is getting ignored.
right.
And the
I understand that
politicians,
part of
they
it,
pander to them.
but
And
don't get mad at the seniors though, because they paid their fair share of taxes all their life, and really they probably got more time behind them than they do in front of them. So we have to give them
well,
some type of break.
no, no, no. That's not the problem. Is well, first of all, a lot of the seniors are being taken advantage of. But let's just assume that they have their health and they're of sound mind, like with Tiffany and some of them with Clark as well. They don't say anything. They allow themselves to be bribed, and it's frustrating because then you have people that are younger that are working their butts off to pay property taxes that are higher than these seniors ever saw in their whole lifetime, but they don't feel it, right? Because the tax rates keep going up and up and up. But since they have their exemptions, some of the seniors, some of them do feel it, depending on their income. But a lot of the seniors don't even feel it. So they keep going to Chris Clark and Tiffany Henyard and whoever else. They love all the freebies. They don't feel it. You know what I mean? And that's where it's like, hey, stop taking advantage of these seniors because, they don't see it affected in their tax bills. And so it's
Right.
just the politicians are very, very
Strategic.
they purposefully do that.
Yeah, very strategic.
Thank you.
And
Did you see look at Mandy's comment? That's exactly what I'm talking about. See,
What'd she
where's
say?
Mandy saying? Let's see.
Mandy,
We
you
got
you
it up
know,
here.
she's the one that reminded me about that.
Harvey is
Harvey.
majority baby boomers who have senior freeze exemption, but the city needs to focus on homeowners who are paying taxes without those exemptions because that will make bigger financial impact.
Right. That's it exactly. So in other words, you might
But
have
seniors are the ones that vote though, guys. In actuality,
that's why they
you're
care. That's why the
yeah,
politicians care.
So
So for
yeah,
instance, let's say if
that's
you have
the
raccoons
conundrum.
or
that's
something
the
that are
voting pool. That's the
if you
voting pool. It's the
well
seniors.
if you need anything though, he's only like in Harvey. I'm just speaking for Harvey, but if you need something, Clark will only make it a priority to help you
If
if
you're a
you are
senior,
a senior who supports him. No, not if you're
sound like Tiffany.
he won't even
Right.
bother. If you're a senior that doesn't, no, he'll ignore you. But so that's what Mandy's saying is because in other words, who wants to come new to the town, whether they're middle aged or younger, who wants to come back to the city that's falling apart
And have nothing to
They have
because
to
offer.
pay
you don't
high
get any
taxes.
services unless you are a senior who votes for Clark. And guess what? That pool gets smaller year after year. So basically, these cities and towns across the U.S. are dying.
Falling apart, right?
Well, no, but they're dying because our tax base is growing smaller because the seniors are getting older and older. They pay less and
They're
less in
exempting,
taxes
right? They're
every year.
getting
But since they're the only ones that the politicians care about for the most part, so that's why a lot of our towns are dying, and that's what's happening to Harvey.
And
It's sad.
normally statistically, however you voted, however you start out voting, that's how you're going to continue to vote. You're not going to change too much. But my dog
right.
Rex, thanks for being here, said property taxes applies only to commercial properties. It's an income tax and does not apply to private
Oh,
property.
that's not true. At least not in Illinois. No.
Read the law. That's what he say. I'm just saying. But
Yeah,
at the end of the day, I know here in Texas, because I pay taxes, so I know. I know how much money I've paid, and I do understand. Um, my taxes was much higher when I was in the metroplex. Now that I'm in a smaller community, my taxes have they went down three times the tax, because my house is not is worth as much. And
right.
for someone to pay $1,500 on a $41,000 house is highway robbery.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, I should look to see. I was gonna try to see
Can I
what
ask?
more
Wait a minute. I
information.
have all y'all on here. Who is the super overload Lord? Because he filled up my screen on my channel so much that nobody could even get in to say anything. Who is this person?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question.
The
Because
super overload.
yeah, the super overlord. He filled my channel page up so bad that I had to go in and block him for 24 hours until I could figure out how to get him off my channel altogether.
Why you don't like what he's saying in the chat?
No,
Is
he
he?
filled my whole. No, it's a whole lot of gibberish.
Because
It's
the
a lot of
supreme
this.
is you talking about the supreme overload?
Uh-huh.
Okay, this last message says chaos is the unnatural inevitability based in sensation and intellect, insulated by
Yeah, I saw he was posting a
insulated by
lot, or she.
proportional containment, intentional division, imposed um,
Justice
Yeah,
said
averaging.
I
Justice
overlooked
said
a
he
lot
said
of
he
the
said
stuff he was putting. He is posting a lot, so I
I
just kind of
I was gonna
got
say if
tired of
someone
it.
like that were my
so
channel, I'd just block them.
no,
Get rid of them.
Justin said he think it's AI. So
Yeah.
Justin, is there any way that I don't know, as you being my mic, is there any way that you can delete them where they can't get back on my channel if you know how to do that? Because that was just annoying. I just happened to go there and see what my people might had to say, and it was nothing but him. The whole chat.
Mm-hmm.
In Texas, there is a lawsuit against fraudulent school district bonds and fraudulent assessments.
It's done, Block Foxy. I took care of it for you.
Okay, thank you so much because it was like I mean my whole chat
Oh
was
yeah,
Was him.
I've seen that before. I just block
I hate
those
when
people.
that's you know what that's why I don't be putting too many comments in certain people's chat because I be hating being the only one talking. I be
and
feeling
I'm
like
Well,
that.
just so you guys know, I pulled up the house, the tax bill I showed you. I just pulled it up. That's a 3-bedroom, about 800 square foot house.
A 800 square foot
So
house with three
especially
bedrooms? The hell?
especially being in Texas. Well, yeah,
Them rooms are
there
the
was
size of
that whole area is
closet.
like that whole
Right.
area was like that little area is like 1950s ranch houses.
thank you,
Well, it doesn't
Justin.
include the basement square footage, but if you're
Okay.
from Florida, if you're from probably Texas, if you're from like Indiana, like our property tax bills like will like just shock you. Like in Dalton, for instance, it's not uncommon to to be paying like $8,000 a year, in property taxes for a relatively small house from the 50s or 60s.
Mm.
It's really crazy.
Yeah,
It's
it
so
sure
that's why
is crazy.
I just wanted to show you that to say our tax system needs changing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you shouldn't be
Yeah,
paying
yeah,
50.
yeah. It's
Yeah, that's a high tax bill. My dog Rex, did I read
yeah.
this already? Oh yeah, I read that.
Oh, thank you, Justin. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Whew. Cause that, I mean, my
And
whole
did you see
chat.
what Carol said? Carol said something like, "I'm a senior. I paid high taxes for over 30 years. I paid my dues." Yeah, no. It's not. We're not. I'm not saying that the seniors should have high taxes. I'm saying the problem is our, at least in Illinois, because I don't know other states as well, but our school funding relies so heavily on property taxes, and so the
Hmm.
burden is just, it's so high, and then you add on to that the fact that you had the politicians, like you saw Tiffany do, like Chris does, like many of them do, that they will often only do things to appease certain elderly voters who, as Mandy pointed out, are barely paying taxes to begin with. I mean, you're starving and killing your towns, and that we just, Harvey won't survive. It will not survive that way. So it's just, yeah, it's weird.
And Flint is doing the same thing. That mayor is doing the same thing. He's done come up with a new bill that people are upset and outrageous about because they haven't even been made whole from the money they already owed, and he's already spending money on something else. So you haven't even made your people whole yet from them being sick from the bad water, and you out here coming up with another project, and that's another thing that they're having a fit about. So it's like these mayors are just going out here doing what they want to do, and they tell the residents, "Oh, we got you. We're gonna help you. We're gonna do this for you, do that," and then they say, "Okay, we're gonna give you time," and then bingo bango, nothing's happening. How I know is because I live in that kind of situation now.
Right.
We got a apartment owner who told us to give her time. She took over in January. This is June. We still haven't got. Oh, she painted the doors. She painted the walls on what, 5 floors? We have 11
Mhm.
floors in this building, and you told us to give you time. That's all you have shown us that you have done. And you made a big advertisement about our pool that
Mhm.
you said is not going to open for the summer. You're not going to pay to have it clean, so the people can go into the pool for the summer. You haven't done anything inside the building. You want to charge us for the park outside the building. A parking spots that were free. Now you want to charge us. You want to go up on the price of the parking inside in the garage that you still haven't fixed the garage
Oh,
door
you
so
could.
it will work. And
Wow.
and I told him, I said, excuse my language. I told him, why are you going to try to clean up a hoe and try to make them a
Uh-oh.
housewife? Try to make them a housewife when they
Oh,
still going to be a
Ferguson is
hoe.
cooking now. All right, Miss Fox, and I know you did tell her.
I sure
But
did. I
at the
told
end
her
of
in
the
her.
day, it sound like she's trying to make y'all pay this mortgage that she just acquired.
Look, the problem is been paying our rent. It's in escrow. The problem is she's not doing anything to get the money. So we constantly paying and nothing being done.
But I'm just saying, if she just took over the property and she just got a brand new mortgage, your last people, they got they paid their money, so she's gonna start a whole new payment plan, and so now she's trying to make you guys pay for it without selling up on what she need to settle up on, and without making any improvements or making minimal improvements.
Well, I mean, you don't know what her financial situation is. Just because she own the property, don't mean that she's raking in a whole bunch of cash. She could.
But see,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. That's not flying here. Now with a Tiffany, no, you're gonna be responsible. No, this girl. Okay, you already knew what this property, the condition of this property before you bought this property. You told the judge that you was going to make this property better, and the judge, the city of DC, was going to reimburse her.
Oh no, now we got a problem.
Now you see why we upset
Oh
because
hell no! How you?
yeah,
She
And she got
fumbled
a
the
problem.
bag.
And she got
and then
pro- she got a problem with having Foxy as a resident because
Okay,
I don't think this gonna fly. She
and
it
gonna
it's
she
not.
ain't.
gonna come through.
Mm.
It's not
But
because I went at the last meeting and I said, I said, some of you elderlies, but I'm so sorry for, excuse my language, but I said, I looked her dead in her face and I said, how you going to make a hoe out of a housewife? I said, you can dress up a hoe all you
the
want to make them look
lipstick
like a
and
housewife.
thigh.
and dress them up and
Mm.
look like a
Oh, for the
housewife,
chicken and
but
pig,
there's
yeah.
still going to be a hole inside unless you clean up the inside, make that person personality and change from being that in that mindset that way to fit what you want to do. But you ain't done shit inside of here to make us anybody wants to come here to live. So
Are
I
you the
want
only person speaking up though?
no, it's a few others, but they like me because I be so wrong. I be the only one that be wrong. Everybody else, well,
Mhm.
we have this, and da 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 da. I ain't gonna be nice. No, you need to be accountable. You need to be accountable, not responsible, accountable for what you're doing. You know you're going to get reimbursed from the state, I mean, from the city of DC for all the, and you're lying because you're going down there telling them you're doing this and you're lying because none of that stuff is being done. And I said, all of us need to take pictures of the stuff that is not still not done since January and present it back to them and have them amend that where she don't get paid diddly shit until she get it done.
Hmm. The whole
Right.
thing.
The whole thing, because you made an obligation and you signed off on that paper that you were going to be obligated into doing that, and you have not done that, and you have gone down there to the attorney general and lied. The city, DC's attorney general,
But
you have
see, what
gone
they
down.
probably was so were they reimbursing her while for the work that she's already done?
Yeah, no, yeah, they don't reimburse her and she ain't did shit.
So it's so stupid because she's so dumb. Because why didn't you just use that money that they reimbursed you that she was already out of to continue the repair work?
No,
Like,
no, Minion, you're not catching it. She got, she went down there and lied and told him she done the stuff that she haven't.
Yeah, she already got
oh,
prepaid for the work that she didn't do.
wow, that she has not done. Oh, that's a lawsuit,
Right.
ain't it?
We already going back to the attorney general next month and take my. They told me they want me to go forth and speak my mind and get on the witness stand. So when that happens, I'll let y'all know.
Oh
Oh
shit!
Lord.
Don't tell me we need to come out there to DC so we can film Foxy on the
Uh-uh.
stand.
I'm
Well,
going live. I'm going live and let y'all see me and see my mouth. But I'm gonna be respectable because I
well,
know how to conduct myself.
thank you guys
But I'm
for inviting me, for having me on. I'm gonna get going. I'm just gonna do a short little live to close out the day for Harvey stuff, and then probably head to bed. But I just wanted to thank you.
He said we were making his head hurt by talking about other stuff he didn't care about.
No, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
I have to be very careful with Foxy because I told her last night, if I she'll keep me up till 4 every day. But like
Yes, Foxy.
Baby,
I
it
she's
mean,
ain't
the
but we
night
gotta.
owl. She's the
Ryan. It
night
is
Ryan.
queen.
Ryan. It is not Foxy by herself. Trust me. They're partners in crime. Okay.
You have the whole
Yeah.
night crew there, huh?
Yeah,
You
All
do
baby.
right.
They
night.
Well,
be keeping
Ryan,
me up
thank you
all
for.
the time.
Okay, and we got some work to do after we get off this live. But thank you for coming on the show
Yeah,
with
Thank
us,
thank
you
you,
for
Ryan.
caring
Ryan.
about Harvey. I really do. I appreciate it. I know my neighbors appreciate it. So if you don't hear that, just want to express that again.
Okay. We're
Absolutely.
gonna stay on it too. We're not done with this at all. But not by a long shot.
Oh
Oh
no, not by
yeah,
a long shot.
I'm so excited. Thank you guys. Good.
All right, now
Keep it up.
go do your live.
All right. See you guys. Good night.
All right. Good
All
night.
right, bye. All right,
So
so
yeah, so if I do go live, I will definitely let you, put it on off the record so they can see this because we're tired of it. We're really getting sick and tired of it. Half the time we don't have hot water in the morning. People got to leave to go to work by 5:30, 6 o'clock. There's no hot water. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. At night, you get ready to take a shower. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't.
with the hot water.
With the hot water. So they told us when they did the pipeline, they spent all this money to put down this pipeline. They said that could solve the problem with the hot water. We still got the same problem. It's like everything that they promised they're going to do,
Mm-hmm.
they're not doing. Now they put down. I can't say because we never saw them actually put the pipe down for what some of them have said the pipes went in. They did look brand new, but we don't know. who did the work. We wasn't told who did the work. We haven't seen anything showing who did the work or who was going to do the work. And the
Are
company,
y'all still having problems?
yes, we are.
Exactly. So that's all the information I need. I don't need to know who did shit. I'm still having the same problem.
And man, if I
So
can
you
show
can say it
y'all
was fixed
that
if you
part.
want,
If
but
I
I'm
show
still
you
having the
the
same problem.
pictures, if I can show you the pictures of the damage where the pipes are busting in the lobby in the back building, this is the sixth time that the lobby has been flooded with busted pipes
Wait a
in the
minute.
back
Hold them
building.
up. Hold them up. Hold them up. Do OTR need to be on this story also?
Hey, we can make it
Look.
happen.
Do we
Look,
need to
let me
put
know.
them on blast also? Because we got some voices now. We got a platform. We got some voices, and give her fair warning and let her know. Look at her now. Just look her here. Use some
Well,
Texas words on her. Look her here.
Okay.
You got put on a time scale. You got 90 days to get it together.
we can put it on blast. I can give you the name of the company. We can give you the footage. We can give you everything because we have a tenant association page that we have commented
She
and
talking
showed
about we can give you like we not all OTR.
well,
But what I'm saying is, we'll try to play fair, you know, and you guys, just give her a timeline. And whatever your timeline is, I just threw out 90 days. Whatever y'all feel like the timeline should be, give her that time, put on notice, and then if she don't do what she need to do, just let her know she will be blasted. Point blank, period.
well, we had planned on it over the last meeting, and I think we're supposed to have one again this Saturday, from what I got. Yeah, this Saturday, we're supposed to have another meeting, and what we're telling the Attorney General, DC Attorney General, that we're going to put in the ordinance that we're are going to go back to the $25. I mean, 25% of we paid 25% of our rent till things change, then we go up to 50. If things still not changing, we go up to 75. If they get better. If it don't, we stay at 25 or don't pay no rent at all. Simple as that.
Well, we don't want y'all to get evicted. Is that going to be
And no,
legal?
no, they can't evict us because they did it before with the other landlord. We had to pay 25%. And then as it got better, we went to 50, but then he got worse. We went back to 25 until the point that we went down to zero. We didn't pay him no rent because it was, you started off showing them that you're doing better. We say,
Mm-hmm.
okay, we went up to 50. Then when
Mm-hmm.
we got to 50, you dropped the ball and didn't do nothing else again. And the judge kept saying you in contempt of court. You in contempt of court. It took us a year from a whole lot of contempt of courts before they finally went ahead and made him sell the property. And then we
I
got the
feel like a
funeral
lot of
property.
these owners be getting themselves wrapped up into other issues, maybe addiction or gambling. Like I don't know what it is, but they stop taking care of business, and I don't
Right.
Getting in
understand
over
that.
their heads and getting in over their heads,
And then the, and then the
and
But it
that's
man
ain't.
real.
You wouldn't be in on over your head if you was focusing on your business. You
and
know,
then
if
the
you was really
management
focusing on the
company.
business, it ain't that hard.
And
But
look, the
but
management company is not able to do anything because we done lost our manager. Found out they own property in Louisiana. That manager walked away. He quit because the same company will not allow them to do anything to better where they live at. And theirs is like three. I think it's 3 floors per building, and theirs is 3 floors per building, and theirs look like Harvey. So that tell you something.
yeah, but you in DC, you'll have better results than the South will have. You can trust me when I tell you that. Okay, because the judges and stuff
Okay.
will play down
Laura,
in the
can it?
South.
Oh, I'm sorry, Laura, getting some coffee. I need some coffee right now, Laura. Can you bring me
She's
back
I'm
a cup
getting
as
coffee and
well?
cupcakes. No, no, Laura, don't go
I don't
get that.
need the
We getting ready to
cupcake.
get off. We getting ready to get off, Laura. You don't have to do that.
Look,
No, Lord, you know how to
We're
do
going
that.
on
Hi, my
three
girl.
hours. Yeah, we're going on three
okay,
hours, guys. So,
No, no.
Lord.
Me and Laura talked on Ryan's show the other night. That's my girl. Laura's my girl. She is a real sweetheart.
I
But
didn't even get a chance to finish all my little videos and stuff that I
but
wanted
now
to release,
on,
but we're gonna do it on the next show.
but
and
child,
now,
we'll come back this
no,
weekend.
and
We'll
now
come back
on,
this weekend.
can we keep T out of the picture next time?
Oh yeah, child. That
Yeah.
was a
Oh,
first and
don't you
last
worry,
mistake.
Foxy. Foxy, don't you worry. Don't you worry. Wait till we get through with this show.
Okay.
And chat, I just want to apologize. I want to
Uh,
apologize to my chat for for the show that went on tonight. You guys know I normally don't do that type of show, but sometimes people get passionate, and so I don't have very many passionate people on my channel, and to Fox's channel, and to Minion's channel. We just want to wholly apologize, but
Yes,
we
we
were just
do.
trying to get information. That's all,
I
and
ain't
that's it.
apologizing. Apologize to your channel because I don't give a
Well,
fool.
I do. I care about my
Okay.
people. I care
I
about my
care
people.
about my people, but they
I
know
don't
I'm
want
with the
them to
shit
hear
if
that
I
kind of
have
stuff.
to.
Well, you did a. I'm not blaming you. You did a great job. You really did. You held your own. So
Yeah,
take
you
my
held
hat
your
off to
own.
you.
Yeah, you
You
got
better
some
you better get you
salute.
better get ready to keep handle your own though, because after this show, meet me in the studio.
No, I'll let y'all let me have it. Y'all can let me have it, but because it was my fault because I did invite that person onto the show, and I even gave her a blowhorn, a hand clap. Lord Jesus, I learned my lesson. I learned my lesson,
I hope
guys.
so, sir. I
I hope
hope
so
so.
too. No, because that's a big difference from what she was that time when me and you was on there with her.
Right, right. She was so sweet and nice.
Well, everybody said what they said, so that's all,
Okay.
and that's it. So, like
But
I
she
said,
said,
I,
I
I,
said
I,
what I said. She
she
used
said
her,
what she said. Yeah,
no,
I
she,
know,
no,
I
she
know,
used your name so many times. I was
I
like,
know. Made
I
it
said,
sound like it was me, so I was just making sure I put my disclaimer out there. That was not me.
Okay. I
But
heard I
everybody
said
know I
what I
talk
said.
country anyway. People know I talk
Yeah.
country, so they already know it wasn't me.
oh, oh, my
So
stomach hurt.
That was the
at the
first time I had a little drama on the show. I think
right,
it was a little exhilarating.
No, Laura said,
right,
No, I'm
she said, I
joking,
heard her
y'all. I
voice and
don't get
said
off
good night.
for drama.
yeah. And that's what I don't want to do. I don't want to. I don't want that to to override what we're trying, the points that we're
Right.
trying to
The
get
message
across. Yeah, I
exactly.
don't want bickering and arguing and chaos to overtake the show, because we really are trying to highlight this dude. Because if you want to be mad at somebody, that's when you need to be mad at Clark, because that's the culprit of all of this. That's the
Right.
Right.
one that's boarding people up in their homes, arresting people at city council meetings, not giving people their FOIAs, charging people too much money for all these extra excessive fees. And finish recapping for me, guys, because that's all I can remember right now. Because the more I talk
It's so
about it,
much stuff.
the madder I'm getting.
The
You know,
pensions not getting paid. I mean, now at the point where they're getting their wages or their funds garnished. So y'all already didn't have no
Disgraced.
money. And now the government got to take the money so that these people who have been working their whole careers can have their pensions when they retire. So
and it bothers me that, you know,
arresting
arresting
residents for clapping. I mean
right. And that
kicking.
was back. No, that was on another reputable uh, content creators channel and the news. And so, come on, this has been going on for a while. Stevie Wonder could see that, and he blind. So, come on, what more do you need for it to get to see that this man has nothing to offer the residents but heartache and pain? Made me want to go up and
I'm
slap
like,
his ass a couple of times and just tell him to and knock his teeth out that he just put in.
Laura with that and who raised this her ratchet rude ass. You know who you sound like? That person that you like to talk about, Foxy, Reese Waters.
Oh yeah, who raised the ass?
Yeah.
He does a show once. I think it's twice a week. Who raised these people? Who raised this?
You're right.
No, we might have
I
to get
think
it.
we need a segment. Okay, we may need to copy that little segment because that's what I need to know. Who raised these
Who
people?
raised you? Yeah.
Okay.
Come on, man. And you sit back and it's sad that they start off humble, act like they're gonna really be there for the people. They're gonna help the people to let them know that you're in good hands. And then you got I'm like, are you high off of the power and drunk on the on the money. I mean, is that what's going on?
Yep.
And it's sad
Yep.
because it's hurting. It's not helping our community. It's hurting us. We can't go forward as people. It's like crabs in a barrel. You know, we're trying to get out of being in poverty and going backwards, and you pulling us right back into poverty. But the problem is you on top. You know, you got that one crab that's on top, and it's always pushing down the rest of them.
Exactly. Crab in the barrels. And we got to get out of that. We definitely got to get out of that status quo stupid talking about they think Stevie Wonder sees and hears a lot more than he lets on.
I believe that
I
too,
wouldn't
Status
doubt
Quo.
it. Look,
Yeah,
okay.
people be talking, they be looking
Because
that
it's
way.
one thing to be legally blind. You could be
Right.
legally blind and still see. Let me tell y'all something.
And Stevie been married a lot. Like, how you know how all these people look that you marrying Stevie?
Well,
And probably was
wait a minute.
marrying pretty women. Probably they
Wait a
had to be
minute.
pretty, probably.
Wait a minute. My problem is, Stevie, if your hairline is that far back, you ain't seen that yet, and you can still see. You need to just stop with the dress. You know, just.
Well, he get a break.
He more concerned about his looks than people that can see.
But he
That
get a
look in the mirror
pass.
and see themselves every day.
Wait, but he get a pass because he can't see.
That's
Okay.
true. That's true.
That's all you gotta say is I can't see.
I can't see, so he get a
it.
pass.
Yeah, and then
I
he
can't
got a
see.
documentation legally. He can't see. He blind. But
Well,
yeah,
y'all, I think this was a good show. What y'all think?
no, we're gonna tell you after we get off the air.
Well, I'm gonna tell you exactly what I think in just a minute. But you know, while we were doing great, we did do some great content on most of the show. So I say 85% of the show was great, and the other 15% I'm gonna tell you about in just a minute.
Do we get a C or a C minus?
C minus.
No, you get an
Oh my God.
No,
All
we
right,
got-
y'all. Oh yeah, everything is allegedly. I don't know what we said, but if we said something, it was
Yeah.
allegedly.
And quit trying to prolong this show, Minion, because you finna get it.
All right,
Guys,
y'all.
thank y'all for coming out tonight, everybody.
Yes.
Y'all pray for me.
Yeah, y'all pray for him because
Hopefully, I see y'all
Hey,
on the
Bank.
next show. Hopefully, I'm still around.
He gonna be around. I don't know. I may drive to Houston and get him. So I don't know. I don't know if I don't know if Minion gonna make it back or not. Okay, I'm just saying.
Y'all gotta come back to the next show to find out.
No, Laura Rexford, can I come to the meeting?
We finna have a meeting, baby.
Oh Lord.
No, we can have a meeting in the ladies' room, and he's
Hey.
going to be the outsider.
Cue up that OTR closeout song. Quit trying to prolong it.
All right, y'all. See you later.
Foxy, bring the fire. Minion got the facts. I said what I said, yeah, no taking it back. It's truth with a twist, and we had a little mess. But don't get it twisted, we still say it best. This ain't your mama's news, it's off the record. Unfiltered, unbothered, undeniably black.